Whole sports all plays. Whole sports all plays. Whole sports all plays. 365, we making up plays. You talking the game, get you to the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. Hitting the airways, taking the nation. Sport all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. Whole sports all plays.
Welcome to the All Sports, All Plays College Breakdown Show. I am Ray Cruz. How y'all doing today? College Breakdown took a hiatus after the National Football Championship to get a reboot of the show. They turned it over to the college basketball. We're getting ready to lead you all the way up to the NCAA tournament. So my name is Ray Cruz. Dre Montez usually is with me. He's right now away. So we're going to get this stuff started here. We're going to start with the College Breakdown Show. We're going to break down some college basketball here today. We got 18 games. We're going to break down 18 games. We're going to talk about NCAA Football Recruiting. We're going to talk about, we're going to start with the 2022 football schedule.
Okay, Mr. Man.
We're going to talk about the football schedule. We're going to talk about, we're going to start with the SEC. Either the SEC or we're going to start with the lower half of the teams and work our way up to the teams starting up all the way up through football season. So we're going to go through the schedule. We're going to talk about the schedule through the SEC, who's going to win the SEC, what their record is going to look like, can Georgia repeat. So we're going to talk about that today. We're going to talk about the so we got all that, and we got some interesting news here from Auburn University, the football coach. We're going to go talk a little bit about that situation there in Auburn. We're going to talk about Auburn lost the other night. So they're still not ranked number one. They'll probably be changing their rankings here about Monday or usually after the weekend. So we got the first college breakdown game we're going to talk about is the Texas A&M and the number one Auburn. Texas A&M comes in at 15-9, 4-7 in the SEC. Auburn comes in at 22-2 and 10-1 in the SEC. What is this outlook of this basketball game today? We're going to take a look right here. The matchup predictor says Auburn's going to win 90.5 to over at Texas A&M 9.5%. So if you look at that situation here, if you go with the matchup predictor, they got Auburn way big over Texas A&M, who is 4-7 in conference play, 15-9. So they have no respect for Texas A&M in basketball here. So we're gonna look at this here. Texas A&M is averaging 73.5. Auburn's averaging 80.2 points a game. Right now Auburn has the edge at 14.4% for the assists over 14.3 at Texas A&M, and Auburn has 8.2 blocks over Texas A&M 4.2. So if you look at this, Block City here. They got Walter Kessler, who transferred out of North Carolina to Auburn. He is a big over 7 feet tall. So if you look at the situation and if you look at the game plan here, let's take a little bit of a preview here of this how this game is going to match up here today. They right now number one host Texas A&M Aggies after Jabbar Smith scored 20 points in Auburn's 80-76 overtime loss to Arkansas Razorback. So you got that. You got Walter Kessler, who's improving as a basketball player. I think he needs another couple years maybe or so that he can improve himself. So if you look at that, Henry Walter III averaging 5.7 per game rebounds per game. The Aggies are 4-7 SEC play. If you look at Texas A&M, they're ranked 9th in the SEC with 30.2 rebounds per game, and that's up behind Henry Coleman III, 5.7 per game. The Tigers and the Aggies meet Saturday for the first time in SEC play this season. But let's look at some of the top performers here. You got Smith averaging 15.5 points a game, 6.7 rebounds for the Tigers. KD Johnson's averaging 9.3 points over the last 10 games for Auburn. Quentin Jackson is averaging 13 points, 1.5 steals for the Aggies. Coleman is averaging 8.4 over the past 10 games for the Texas A&M. If you look at the outlook of the last 10 games for here, the Tigers are 9-1, averaging game, 38.3 rebounds, 12.9 assists, 7.6 steals, 8.4 blocks per game, while shooting 44.4% from the field. You know, if you look at their opponents, the opponents are averaging 70.7 points per game. The Aggies is 3-7, averaging 69.2 per game, 30.5 rebounds, 12.2 assists, and 10.3 steals and 4.3 blocks per game, while shooting 42% from the field. Their opponents have averaging over 71.6 points per game. So if you look at here, the Aggies and could present a defensive matchup problems for Auburn if they can go with some multiple looking defense. You know, switch from zone, switch from man to man, switch from, you know, teams don't do that much. They don't switch to the zone. They don't go to a one, except for Syracuse. They don't go to like a 1-3-1. They don't change multiple defense anymore. It's just straight up man to man, or if they have to go to zone, if they're forced to go to zone, they go. So I mean, what happened to the days of college basketball where the defense can go into a 1-3 matchup zone, try to trap out of the 1-3 matchup, go to 2-3 matchup zone, try to trap out of the 2-3. I mean, University of North Carolina back in the 80s did that very, very successfully. Switching man-to-man defense, switching full court press, switching trap at half court, at 2-3. They called it 2-3 press. You know, two people behind and you force them to the sideline and you bring the trap out. They don't do that much. They don't speed other teams up. I mean, they play the man-to-man. They wait until players come down and shoot. So if Texas A&M can get that defense match up here and shoot the ball they have to shoot the ball lights out against Auburn. If they can do what Arkansas did, then you're going to see this team really, really come up. So, you know, hey, what's up, Dave? So I mean, if you look at this situation here, the way they got this game going on here for Auburn, and how this game is going to play out here is a 12 o'clock game Eastern time. It's in Auburn, Alabama, and you got to have home court advantage for Auburn. So I mean, Texas A&M going to have to come in and play lights out. And then, like I said, if they can switch up zone, go from zone to man to man, and switch it up in improv time, could cause a little bit of trouble for Auburn. And then again, on Auburn's side, they got some good 3-point shooters, and they got Walter Kelsey who can stand at that center and play the 3-point line. So it gives a little bit of matchup disadvantage that Auburn presents for you. So I look at it as a very good game going to be here. I think it's going to probably be closer than what people think. I think Auburn pulls it out 80-76. So let's talk about the next game that's coming up here this week. Let's talk about Texas A&M Baylor. This should be good. Number 20 Texas, 18-6, 7-4 in the Big 12, coming against up number 10 Baylor, 20-4, 8-3 the Big 12. So if you look at these aspects of these teams are playing here, this is a very cool. The matchup predictor says Texas 25%, 25.1%, 74.9%. That's what ESPN has on that matchup predictor. If you look at this game here, you got Allen, Allen 11.8 for Texas. He's a forward, 53.2%, 71.4 from the foul line. Against Cryer, the guard from Baylor, 13.9, 47.8% from the field, 77.8 from the foul line. If you look at the tally of the team rankings here, there's Texas 61.2, Baylor 67.6. The spread, Baylor's favored by 6. So if you want to put the money line plus 210 on Texas, negative 2260 on Baylor, and you have 130.0 for over and under in this ball game. So if you are a betting man, so that's your betting line right there for this game. If you look at it here, Texas is averaging 68.7 points per game. Baylor is averaging 77.8. Baylor point, as field goal percentage is 47.2. Texas 45.4. The rebounding edge goes to Baylor at 37.5 to Texas 33.7. Assist goes to edge to Baylor at 16.8 and 13.8 for Texas. But the blocks are pretty even at 3.3 for both teams. And they still It goes to the favor of Baylor. Baylor is averaging 9.6 steals to 8.3. Texas is coming on a 2-game winning streak. Baylor coming in on a 1-game winning streak. If you look at the last 5 opponents, for Texas, they played Texas Christian on the 25th of January. They won 73-50. They beat Tennessee on the 29th of January, 52-51. They lost to Texas Tech University at 77-64 on February 1st. And then on the 5th, you had them going up at Iowa State, and they beat Iowa State 63-41. Then they went on into Kansas, and they beat Kansas on the 7th of February, 79-76. And if you look at Baylor's last 5 games, they played Kansas State at 74-49. They won that game. They lost to Alabama 87-78. Then they went on and beat West Virginia. The score was 81-77. If you look at KU, they lost to KU 83-59 for Baylor. And then they beat Kansas State again 75-60. So this is going to be a very interesting matchup here. This game capacity crowd will be about 10,000. 284 people. And this game is played in Waco, Texas. So you got the Wacos and the Wacos going out of here in Texas, trying to bring Baylor the victory here. So you're gonna have the Wacos going nuts in this arena. I think this is gonna be a highly contested game. If Texas played good like they did against Kansas, they have the opportunity to go in here and pull this big upset here against Baylor today. So I like the way this matchup is looking here for Texas, and it's a big wave. It's a big thing going here. So I think Texas and Baylor so is very good. So this game is also at 12 o'clock. So if you look at this matchup here, like I said, teams need this team needs to play man defense, play it tough. If they can get in Baylor's pockets and play this game, they could really destroy Baylor. That's going to be the Texas philosophy here. They have to play like they did in Kansas, and they got to go in there and do it. So, what's up, Michael? How you doing? So if you look at this situation in these ball games here, you can see very, very easily that Texas could come in Waco and pull up another upset like they did up in Kansas. So that's good. Oh, they beat Kansas at home. Sorry. So they could go on the road and actually beat Baylor here today. I predict this could be an upset, but I'm still going to go with the home team. I think it's going to be very close. It's going to be 80-76 the final score. That's what I believe. So let's move right along here. The next game we're going to be talking about is going to be the Oklahoma and Kansas game. We're moving right along here in the days of the College Breakdown and the College Breakdown basketball show today. So like I said, we've been on hiatus after the College Breakdown. We had to reformat some of the shows here to try to keep the show very, very unique and very expressive all year round. So we'll be taking up college basketball all the way up to the NCAA tournament. We will be doing some college baseball in the upcoming events here for the College Breakdown show. We're going to break down we're going to lead up into the football season. We're going to talk about recruiting and stuff like that later on in this show and later on in future shows. So we're going to talk about everything here, everything about college sports here on the College Breakdown show. All right, this is going to be a very interesting dynamic game here. This is going to be Kansas is way favorite headed, 86%, 14% for Oklahoma chance to win in this ball game. If you're a gambler, if you want to look at the betting line here, Oklahoma is 65.4. This team ranking to Kansas 75.5. Kansas is favored by 10.5. So that's a plus 10 on the spread, minus 10.5 for Kansas. The money line is plus 450 for Oklahoma, minus 650 for Kansas. And the over and under is 142. That's your betting odds for this game. Excuse me, I got a little cold going on here. I got an allergy going on. So let's look at this game here. OU 69.8 points per game. KU Kansas 80.0 per game. You're looking at field goals here, pretty much even on the field goals. pretty much even on the field goals at 49.6, 48.0. The rebound is 32.4 for OU, 37 for Kansas. Kansas got the advantage there. Kansas got the advantage in the 6 at 16.1 to 14.3, and then KU's got the lead in the block at 4.2 per game to a 1.8, and then the steals heavily is in favor by OU at 7.8, 6.6. So Kansas coming in with a losing streak, 1 game losing streak, and Oklahoma's coming on a 1 game winning streak. Kansas lost to Texas 78-76. Oklahoma beat Texas Tech University 70-55. So if they can play a stand-up defense, but they're going into Cole Fieldhouse, in Lawrence, Kansas. So this is going to be, Allen Fieldhouse. This is going to be a very 16,300 capacity crowd. It's going to be rocking and rolling. You got this over and under 142. I think there's going to be a little bit more. I think Kansas is going to blow them out. I think Kansas could get up in the 90s in this ball game, and I think this game is going to be 90-65 is the final game, because Kansas is going to be mad and upset. Yeah, you can share the show with your friends. Invite anybody you want to, man. Also, anytime you need me, I'm available. I love college basketball. Okay, bro. Anytime you want to jump on. I mean, so we got a lot of basketball going on here today. Like I said, Oklahoma's gonna have to take care of the ball. If they turn the ball over in this ball game, Kansas is gonna have a field day with Oklahoma. It's gonna be a strong beat down. The transition game for Kansas is strong. They get into that lane, they turn you over. If they turn you over to it, it's gonna be a very aptitude time. It's gonna be very intriguing time. So let me get some water real quick here. So I mean, it's going to be a lot of issues, a lot of stuff going around in this ball game. It's going to be very tough. Oklahoma's trying to switch up defense. I mean, they can't play that man-to-man defense against this top Kansas team. They're going to mix in some of that zone. They have to mix in some zones in this ball game. Play different defense. You got to be unpredictable. This got to be unpredictable for OU's game. They can't show what they've been showing in tape and stuff. They're gonna have to replay this, and they got to redo everything. That's gonna be a thing, an interesting thing and dilemma in this. They're gonna have to be so. And if you look, they can play style defense. Look what they did at Texas Tech. I mean, that same caliber team as Kansas, but I mean, they held them 55 points, so they can play some defense. And if Kansas gets out there and lets teams to play with them and let them score in the 70s, and what Texas did at them, 79-76. So I mean, there's gonna be a lot of interesting things here. So excuse me. So it's gonna be a lot of back and forth, starting to fill out each other. But I think the second half is going to be closely. If Oklahoma can stay in this ball game at the 5-minute mark in the first half, this could be a game. This could be a really good game here. Yeah. This could be really, 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 really tough and really good game here. So, I mean, that's a thing that we're going to look at here. So let's see what else we can get here. I mean, let me take care of some technical issues real quick. I'll be right back. Let's go to the commercial breaks here.
All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we're making up plays. You're talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety, topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. Hitting the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. We on top of our game. All sports all plays. All sports all plays.
What did you say?
I said Kobe Bean Bryant has been overrated ever since he passed away.
Now, I'd say they could lose about 4, but I don't see them losing 5. You know what I mean?
All sports all plays. All sports all plays. All sports all plays.
This is the Fonx D Streaming Network. Register to come on our channel at fonxdnetwork.com.
Welcome back to the All Sports, All Plays College Breakdown Show. We hear a little bit of washing machine in the background. That's my fault. I'm trying to switch over a little, but couldn't do it fast enough. So you might have a little background noise in the show here. I'm sorry about that. My wife was actually going to wash clothes now. I told her in my show, and I guess she wash clothes. So it's very strong background noise. I'm trying to hopefully get that out of here. So if you're a little bit rumbling, that's my washing machine. Sorry. But, it's live TV, so can't help what you can't help here. We're going to talk about Oklahoma and KU. We'll finish up that little bit of thought here on that. I think if they can really dominate the defensive and not dominate the defense in this ball game, OU could be good. It could be a very threat. But if they get blown out in the first 10 minutes of this ball game, Oklahoma's not going to come back to this ball game. So if you look at that, if you look at where you see there, that issue there, that's going to be a little bit of a tough sell, a tough break in this game here. So to me, I think Kansas needs to speed up their defense, speed them up, take the ball away, turn OU over, and get in that fast break, dominate this game in the first 10 minutes, put this game out of reach, and they can close in the second half. So this is going to be a very interesting game, but I think it's going to be a blowout. I think, like I said, KU is probably going to get 90, and then Oklahoma probably about 70. So 97 is my final score in this ball game. We're moving right along in this ball game here. We're moving right along in the College Breakdown Show. The College Breakdown Show here, we're going to go into the Seton Hall-Villanova matchup. The Seton Hall-Villanova matchup. This is going to be 15-7 and 6-6 in the Big East. Seton Hall versus the number 15 Villanova, 18-6, 11-3 the Big East. Let's look at a little bit of a breakdown here in this game here. If you look at here, you're looking at a Villanova apart. They said Villanova's going to win big time, 89.4% to 10.6% chance for Seton Hall. Roden, the guard for Seton Hall, is averaging 15.8 a game, 39 point. He's averaging field goal percentage is 39.0, field goal is 79.8. Gillespie for Villanova, 16.5 points per game, 44.9 field goal percentage, 91.2 free throw percentage. If you want to go into the money line in this one, the team ranking is 63.5 for Seton Hall, 73.2 for Villanova. Villanova is favored by 9 points. So Seton Hall is a +9, and this one the money line is a +360 to -440, and the over and under is 134.5. So you can go ahead and put your money out in this ball game. That's your betting line. That's your procrastinator. That's your line there that you can go in, your barometer that you can go into here and try to get you some money there in this ball game. Seton Hall is averaging 75.8 points per game to Villanova 73.1%. If you look at field goal percentage, it's 42.6 for Seton Hall, 44.1 for Villanova. Seton Hall has the advantage on the boards at 40.1 to 35.3. Assists at 10.5. Villanova has the edge on that at 12.5. And the Seton Hall has the edge on the block at 5.5 to 2.3. And the steals is on Seton Hall's advantage at 7.4 to 6.5. Both teams coming in on a win streak. Seton Hall comes in with a 3-game winning streak. Villanova comes in with a 2. The last win for Seton Hall was against Xavier, 73-71. And St. John's University, the Redmen, for Villanova, 75-69. So both teams play great defense here. It's going to be a defensive matchup. I think Seton Hall can get the block shots going, and they can stay in this is like the Oklahoma and KU game here. If Seton Hall can stay in this ball game at the Wells Fargo Centers at 1:00 today, the coverage will be on Fox TV. So I mean, if you look at this line here, both teams play great defense. It's going to be a defensive battle. It's going to be a great game. I think they can meet that action. I think they can really meet that action in there. I think they can really dominate this game inside if Seton Hall can get the block shots going. But like I said, if they are jumped out quickly on the out about the 10-minute mark, they are out of this ball game. Seton Hall is going to be compressed and come back in this ball game. I don't think Seton Hall has a chance to come back in this ball game. So I mean, that's going to be a lot of issues in a lot of ways to get everything worked out in this ball game today. So I mean, if you look at the dominance here at Villanova, Villanova closest game in the last 5 games. It was the last game of St. John's 75-69. They've been beating teams 85-74, 83-73, 73-62, 67-42. But if you look at the last 3 games for Seton Hall, they beat Georgetown 70-63. They beat Creighton 74-55. They beat Xavier 73-71. So I mean, they've been playing good basketball the last 3 games. So I mean, if you could really see the domination here on this ball game, I mean, you can see Villanova trying to push the tempo a little bit, but they play that steady basketball. They play that great defense, and they work their offense. So I mean, this game is going to be really a low-scoring game. I think it's going to be. I think the final score could be 65-73. It said, "Boss man, I just want you to take most disappointing team. I'm going with Michigan, Memphis, Georgetown. My picks were doing so well as Providence. I am from New Bedford, Massachusetts. I'm very interested in the Big East." Yeah, the Big East. I mean, it's a really, Georgetown to me. With Patrick Ewing there, I thought they can get a little bit more, more recruiting just by him being there and stuff like that. So I mean, yeah, I mean, this was I'm used to the old Big East. I'm used to where Syracuse and all the big dominant team before they came over to the ACC was in that Big East. That Big East was very, very competitive. That's back in the old days, back in the 80s, where, Georgetown and Providence and, Villanova, the upset Villanova and Molly Massavino and days like that and John Thompson. Yeah, see, I'm really old school, where North Carolina and John Thompson battled out in the national championship in 1982, where I think it was Sleepy Floyd passed it to James Worthy towards the end of the game, So I mean, I think that was an excellent good game. Then you had to battle down Molly Massavino, take him down, win their national championship in Georgetown, So I mean, it's very compelling. It's a very compelling Big East. I mean, this is the Big East. This is the new Big East. I mean, you still got some old teams in there, but you got Creighton in there now, and you got Marquette. So I mean, this is not like the Big East back in the old days of where we used to. So I mean, Big East is going to be right there. Villanova's going to keep them right there because Villanova's been dominant on the right. Here, the last few times Providence had a good team competing. So I mean, you see the Big East. This Big East has been changing hands left and right. Been very compelling basketball. I still think it's up there, but it's not quite where it used to be. That's my opinion on the Big East there. So I mean, this game is going to be very compelling. It's going to be a compelling game to watch. I mean, Seton Hall has known in their history to pull some upsets. This could be an upset poll right here. This could be, a game that Villanova might not want to take lightly. On paper, they seem like they are a better team than Seton Hall. But like I said, Seton Hall comes and plays defense, plays block shots. This could be another Big East, where another team could be upset team here on the number 15 floor, So that's going to be a lot of issues coming up with Seton Hall. The Seton Hall's going to play great defense. Got to keep the game close all the way up through the first half. If they keep it the first half, the second half can be an automatic game, and give this young Seton Hall team some spark, probably a way to do it. So, that's where we look at it on this one here for this game here. But like I said, I think Villanova will win 60-55 as the final score. All right, we're gonna move right along. We're gonna go up into Rutgers versus Wisconsin today. So that's going to be our next game. Rutgers and Wisconsin. Rutgers is 14-9, 8-5 in the Big Ten. We got the 14. Number 14, Wisconsin is 19-4, 10-3 in the Big Ten. Let's go look at the tail of the tape in this ball game here. Once again, ESPN is not really, dominating this. 84.1% is the matchup predictor. 15.9% for Rutgers. 84.1% for Wisconsin. You got Harper Jr. the forward for Rutgers, averaging 15.4 a game, 42.1 field goal percentage, and 78.6 free throw. You got Davis, the guard for Wisconsin, who's averaging 20.8 per game, 42.9, and 78.8% for this ball game here. If you want to go to Vegas here, you want to go to Vegas and make you some money here. Here's some to break down. We got a 62.7 team ranking at 70.4 for Wisconsin, 62.7 for Rutgers. Wisconsin's favored by 8, so that's a plus 8.5 against the spread for Rutgers, minus 8.5 against spread against Wisconsin. The money line is plus 280 and the minus 340 for Wisconsin, plus 280 for Rutgers, and the over and under is 132.5. We know Wisconsin plays defense. We know Rutgers can play defense. We know Rutgers sometimes is very athletic, a very compelling team here. Points per game for Rutgers 68.2, 71.1 for Wisconsin, 64.8, 66.1 for Wisconsin, 64.8 for Rutgers. Rutgers at 43.5 for field goal percentage, 42 for Wisconsin, 36 for rebounds for Rutgers over Wisconsin at 35. You got 16 assists. Rutgers 16, averaging 16 assists to Wisconsin 11. Block shots is in favor of Rutgers, 4.3 to 2.9 for Wisconsin. Steals is in favor. So Rutgers plays defense very well defensive oriented team. They're averaging 7.3 steals to 5.1. 4 teams coming on the 2-game winning streak. Rutgers coming in beating Ohio State 66-64 and Michigan State is 84.3 at 84-63. I'm sorry. And then if you look at Wisconsin beating Michigan State 70-62, and then they came off of Penn State 51-49. So if you look at these scores, both teams have played great defense, and so that's what we're going to see here. So let's see what Mike's got to say here today. Boss, I can have some old school players on your show like Tony Bruin, Coach Mike Jarvis, Gene Smith from Georgetown, etc. Otis Thorpe, and more. Oh, cool. Maybe we hit up and talk a little bit here after the show is over and stuff, and we'll see what we can do here. So if you can just send me a Facebook Messenger, I'll get back to you, and we'll run through my organization here and see if you're a good fit and stuff like that. So that's what the process here. We have a recruiting process here, so I'll send you the information to our recruiter, and he'll get with you and stuff like that. So we get that rolling here. Like I said, just send me your information, and I'll pass it off to my recruiter, and then he'll get in touch with you, and then we'll work everything out. That's the standard process we have here at the All Sports All Place Network. So let's continue on here in this breakdown here. This game will be played in the Kohl Center. Edwards come into play. It's like anybody else Wisconsin has a stint of home field advantage. They play pretty good at home. It's two tails of the tape for Wisconsin. They play okay on the road. They play better at home. So the last game it was Wisconsin was Penn State 51-49. So it was a close battle. Penn State played great defense. That's what Rutgers got to do. They got to play great defense. They got to play really, 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 really great defense. And that's going to be a situation that we got really, time for here. We got to see the situation here. We got to see the really comparedness of the essence here of defense. And if Rutgers can switch up some multiple defensive looks here, but you got to stop the guard. You got to stop. You got to stop Davis. The ball runs through Davis. You got to stop him. You got to keep him below his 20.8 average. You got to have Hopper Jr. play out of his mind. You got to have him scoring over 20 points and even have a chance to win this ball game today for Rutgers. So I mean, this could be a really dandy game. It could be a really close game. I'm going to say this game is going to be 72-70. I got Wisconsin pulling it out by 2 points in this ball. So, okay, cool. You're on fast break, all right? Yeah, well, definitely we'll hit me up and we'll talk about it and we'll get everything situated out here. And hopefully in the next show and stuff we can get you on and we can talk a little bit, try to get some of these guests and stuff lined up, man. I appreciate it, man. Thanks for looking out. Let's look at here. Yeah, we're all big here in the All Sports All Plays Network. So we got a lot of stuff going on here at the All Sports All Plays Network. I work on the website here at the All Sports All Plays. We're getting ready to reveal a new website. And we're finishing that up this week so we can get that done and get it all in place. So we definitely can talk, Mike. If I'd known that, we could have hit each other up before the show. So next week, we'll talk about getting it lined up for next week and stuff because Ray said he might not be here next week, so part of me co-host for next week too. So if you're down for it, every time at 9 o'clock to 12 o'clock is the College Breakdown show. We can get all that. We can get all that situated here. We can get it all down and work out a show format. And hopefully, we get some of these players and stuff to come on. Let's continue right along here. We got Memphis and Houston. Memphis and Houston is the next breakdown here on the College Breakdown show. We got about 9 minutes, so we're going to a commercial break here. If we look at this game here about Memphis and Houston, number 6 Houston comes Memphis going to travel into Houston. Number 6 Houston. Memphis is 13-8, 74 in the American. Houston is 20-3, 9-1 in the American. Lead American. Fan going to the Marriott Center in Houston, Texas. The line is Houston is favored by 10 points in this ball game. The over and under is 140.5. So let's take a look at this. Let's take a look at Penny Hardaway's team here. Penny Hardaway's team was predicted to be big this year. It's stumbling out of the gate so very, very early. Got behind the stakes. They've been playing good basketball lately. Darren, the center, is he's averaging 11.1 per game. For Memphis, 63.4 field goal percentage, 55.9. He's a big guy in the middle. That's where they're gonna have to dominate today. They're gonna have to dominate that center position today. If they can dominate the inside game against Houston and limit Houston's 3-point shooting percentage here in this ball game, this could be a good game for Memphis to pull up a big upset here. I don't give it. Memphis has got some good coaches and Penny Hardaway and Larry Brown sitting on that bench. So I mean they got to be well prepared. You got to play lights out against Memphis here. Edwards for the guard for Houston is 14.0 points per game, 38.8 field goal percentage, 72.1 free throw. If you look at some of this stuff here, the money line is plus 400 for Memphis, minus 550 for Houston. The 10-point favored by Houston in this ball game. Teams ranking this Memphis 64.1, Houston 75.0. So if you look at the scoring here, they're pretty even matchly in scoring, 77 to 77. So if you look at that, if you look at the scoring, so they both can match up in scoring. 77, averaging 77 points per game here. 47 point, they're averaging 47.1% field goal percent for both teams. Rebounding, slight edge, 39.6 for Memphis to 39.5 for Houston. Again, the assists is in favor of Houston, 16.1 to 16 for Memphis. The blocks is in favor of Memphis, 6.3 to 5.4. The steals, 8.5 to 8.4. Memphis is coming in on a 4-game winning streak. Houston's coming in on a 1-game losing streak. They beat Tulane 80 to 69. They beat and then Houston came in and lost to SMU 85-83 at SMU. So that's gonna be a knock here. Can Houston pull back, and can Memphis stay what they're doing? What they're doing is dominating the inside. They're dominating the paint. They dominate big time. They're blocking shots. Sometimes they go in that zone pressure defense. Leads to more blocks because you got the center coming over. He's not really guarding anybody. He comes over and helps out on the baseline. So that's where he gets most of his blocks. So if that continues today, so we're going to see how that worked out. So I mean, that's going to be a lot of take inside here. So that's going to be a big take and big inside here for this game today. So that's what we're looking at here. That's what we're looking at in domination and stuff like that. So we're going to go ahead and take a commercial break. We'll be right back. This is the All Sports, All Plays College Breakdown. Sean Ray Cruz. We'll be back momentarily.
All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we're making a plays. We're talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety, topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. We on top of our game. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays.
What did you say?
I said Kobe Bean Bryant has been overrated ever since he passed away.
Now, I'd say they could lose about 4, but I don't see them losing 5. You know what I mean?
All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays.
This is the Fonx D Streaming Network. Register to come on our channel at fonxdnetwork.com.
Welcome back to the All Sports, All Plays College Breakdown. Ray Cruz. Usually Dre Montez would be with me today, but he's on assignment today. So we're moving along here in these because we're finished up with the Memphis and Houston. Sorry, my allergies is really getting bad here. It's by that time of year for here in Florida. Heating back up and the pollen and all that stuff starting to get worse and worse, and so allergies are really getting bad. Sorry for doing a lot of coughing and stuff like that. So we look at it this way here. If you finish up looking at this situation and stuff like that going on here, we got this we got this very, 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 very important. This contest is very important for Memphis. They want to move up and try to get back in this big in this in their conference place here. This is a big conference game here. They're 3 games behind, so they can move some ground and get 2 games behind if they can win this game here. So that's going to be a big if. I believe this is going to be a good game. I'm going to pull the upset on this one here. I think Memphis is going to win 80 to 78. 80 to 78 this ball game here. I think they're going to have enough block shots. I think they're going to have enough defense. I think Duran, the center, is going to dominate. I think he's going to have over 11 points. He's averaging 11.1 per game. I think he's going to have way over that. I think he's going to probably be near 20. I don't think Houston has anybody to match up with him. If they can dominate the inside and they keep dominating the inside all game long, this is going to be a very, very, very tough contest for Houston, even though they're playing in Houston. It's going to be a tough contest for them to match up, and then Memphis can get out and run on the block shots. That's going to be the key. When you block a shot, you don't want to block it out of bounds. You want to block it up court. You want to try to keep it in play so you can start your fast break, start your penetration fast break, start your all the information here. So that's going to be a tough thing here if they get the block shots and they keep it in bounds and get them that fast breakout open turnovers. Now that's another thing too. If Memphis can afford open turnovers, so they come across still from the guards, boom, that's fast break basketball right there. It's fast break one-on-one. As you get your open field up and get your advantage up. That's going to be the key for Memphis. If Memphis can do all that here, but they got to limit Houston's 3-point shooting. That's going to be one thing. They're going to have to guard that 3-point line. They're going to have to force them running the shooters off. They're going to have to run them inside. They're going to try to dump. Houston's got to find some way to get points in the paint and points out of the paint. That's going to be the tough. That's going to be the tough go at it. That's going to be a really, really tough find here for the thing. But like I said, I got Memphis pulling the upset 80 to 78 in this ball game. So let's go right along here. We're on our number 7th game out of 18 games we're breaking down here on the college breakdown show. We're going to go here. We're going to look at the next game in the target here will be the Indiana versus Michigan State. Number 17, Michigan State. Indiana comes in at 16-7, 7-6 in Big Ten, and Michigan State comes in at 17-6, 8-4 in Big Ten. Michigan State is favored by 4 points. There's a 4-point favor by Michigan State. Over and under is 134.5. Sorry for the noise in the background. My other stuff with that, I usually keep my background noise that's not working today. So I had to go with this here. Sorry for all the background noise. Let's look at this situation here. We got the ESPN predicting Michigan State 67.5% over the 32.5%. So that's a 32.5% chance that Indiana winning this ballgame today. If you look at IU, Indiana Hoosiers, the Fort, Jackson Davis, 17.6 per game, 57.8 field goal percentage, and 66.2 on the foul line. To Brown Ford for Michigan State at 12.8, 42.8 field goal percentage, and 90.7 field goal percentage. So if you look at all that here and all the stuff going on here, if you look at the money line, Indiana's plus 160 on the money line, and Michigan State's negative 190 on there. It's a 4-point favorite for Michigan State in this ball game. Team rank is at 64.6 and 69.8. If you look at it here, both teams scores over 70 points. Michigan State comes in at 72.2 to IU 72. Their field goal percentage is IU at 46.5 for Michigan State 46.2. If you look at the rebounds at 37.4 for IU, 38.1 for Michigan State leads that. And if assists, Michigan State leads at 16.1 to 14.8 for IU. And the block shots goes to the advantage of Michigan State at 5.8 to 5.5. And the steals goes to Michigan State at 6.0 to 5.8. Both teams coming on 2-game losing streak. Indiana lost to Illinois 74-57 at home, and then he went on the road and lost to Northwestern 59-51. And then if you look at on the road, Rutgers beat them 84-63, Michigan State. And then Wisconsin won 70-62 at Wisconsin. That's the ball game. What do we talk about this game here? This game is going to be played at the Belton Center in Michigan State in front of 14,797 crowd. If both teams play a good game, I think this is going to still be in the 70-point range here. I think they'll probably be the thing, and I think this is going to be a really close game. I think Michigan State will pull this out here. But I mean, if you look at which forward would take over the game, will it be Michigan State Brown or will it be IU Jackson Davis? That's going to be the key matchup here. But also for Michigan State, they got to hit them in threes. They got to hit the 3-pointers. That's what's been lacking for some of this stuff here. Let's see if we can take some. Let's go a little bit deeper into Michigan State here a little bit here. Let's take a look at some of their key stats here. If you look at this thing, if you look at right here, and where they're looking at here in their 3-point percentage field goal is 38.8 as a team. That's 38.8 as a team. It's pretty good for 3-point range. The best 3-point shooter is Walker, the guard, at 54.3. He's averaging 54.3, and then you got Hall, the other 40, averaging 53.5, and then you got Brown's averaging 38.5 for field goal for 3-point range, and then you got Christie at 34.1, and then you got AJ Hogre at 30.1. So I mean, if you look at the breakdown there, so if they can hit their threes, they'll be in a good shot here, a good way. Let's take a look deep a little bit numbers here for Indiana here in their statistical 3-point and see how they are looking in that 3-point range. This is going to be the key for them. They are averaging 34.4. They have nobody shooting over 50% in that 3-point range. They have the best one they have is PJ Stewart, the guard. He's averaging 23.5 minutes. He's averaging 6.9, but his 3-point percentage is 45.1. If you look at that, that's going to be the best one, and everybody else is 35.8 for Johnson. So I mean, if you got all that situation here and stuff, so. Sorry about that. It's allergy and it's all down in my throat. So if you look at Galloway, is 29.4. Kopp, the forward, is 37.3. So I mean, if you got and you don't have Davis is that he's dominant downside. He don't shoot threes. So he has to extend his range out to the mid-range jump shots. If he can't get inside, he's got to start hitting those mid-range jump shots. He's at 17.6 and 8.5 rebound. He's a dominant force inside. So that's going to give a lot of problems for, Michigan State in this ball game here. So I got this way here, and I got everything else. So I have Michigan State actually pulling this up by 1 point, 73-72 in this ball game. And we're going to break it down here. We're getting right down to our number 18 in the spot would be the Florida Gators and the Kentucky Wildcats. What can we say about the Gators and the Wildcats here? Their basketball series the last few years has been great. It was good with Billy Donovan there, battling Kapari. So, I mean, if you look at this, Florida Charleston is 15.4 points per game to Tashviva for University of Kentucky at 15.9, 60.2 field goal percentage, 69 point free throw. Charleston for Florida is 15.4, 54 field goal and 66.4 things. So if you look at this right here, they got Kentucky favored by 10 points. So it's a plus 10 spread there for Florida and Kentucky's at -10. Plus 400 money line for Florida, a -550 for Kentucky, and over and under is 140.5. So there you go. So you got that. You got that. What you got that looking at right now? You got 71.1 points per game, 81.4 Kentucky points per game. So they lead that handily, almost 10.3 more a game for Kentucky. Kentucky started off slowly, but they progressed and they have been on a tear here in the last few weeks here. So has Florida. Florida's been on the tear the last 4 games. Kentucky leads the field goal percentage at 49.2 to 42.8 for Florida. Rebound, Kentucky leads 41.2 to 34.3. Assists, Kentucky leads that 17.1 to 12.9. Blocks is 55.4 to 45.3. And the steal is 9.0 to 7.1. And so you got Florida coming in a 4-game winning streak. They beat Oklahoma State, they beat Missouri, they beat Mississippi, and they beat University of Georgia. Kentucky has come in on a 5-game winning streak, beating Mississippi State, Kansas, Vanderbilt, Alabama, and South Carolina. Sorry about that. Yeah, I'm trying to get everything straightened out here. I was hoping I wouldn't get my allergy this quick. Usually it happens around this time in March time frame here in Florida. So I was hoping I didn't get it and stuff like that. So that's going to be working in progress right now. Usually I have a co-host that won't be talking as much, so it gets some in my throat and stuff like that. But that's okay, though. We're going to push right along here in this game here. So we got the Florida and Kentucky, and so I mean, if you look at this straightness and stuff like that, so been going on for almost an hour or so, talking about the basketball games and broken down big 8 games here for you. So if we look at this game here, what do we need to see here from Florida? Let's take a little bit deeper look into it. Let's go a little bit deeper into their stats here for Florida. The biggest takeaway here is that 3-point shooting at 30.7. The field goal range is 42.8. The field goal free throw as a team is 72.3. They're averaging 34.3 rebounds a game. We're talking about the assists. Carlson has got to have a bigger game. He's got to be over 20 points in this ball game. Appleby has to play better. He has to cut the turnovers down, and he has to prove the 3-point shooting. The 3-point shooting is going to be a key here in this ball game. If they can match some of the 3-point range here and get a little bit over the 3-point range, you're going to see this. You can see Florida hanging around with Kentucky here. That's going to be the biggest. That's going to be the biggest go away and the biggest thing. What's up, man? How you doing? Dude? Yeah. So I mean, that's gonna be a big update, a big way here, in this situation here. So if you look at this here, you got Fleming. Fleming is averaging 10.4. He's gonna be big. He's got to be big. And some of these guys who is averaging like 9.5 a game, they're gonna have to step up. They're gonna be in double figures in this game if they're gonna have a chance here. Because I'm gonna tell you what, Kentucky is a well-balanced team. A well-balanced team. Let's look a little bit deeper into Kentucky here, in this game here. Let's look a little deep here. All right, let's look a little deeper here in this contest here. Like we talk about Atisha Abi, he's 15.9 a game, He doesn't shoot three. He stays underneath the basket. So, I mean, he's going to be in the post. Can Florida match up in the post? If they can keep the big guys out of foul trouble, it's going to be a big asset for them. If you got to look at here, Kentucky's only 35.5% three-point shooters, but they have Toppin, who comes in off the bench. He's averaging 5.9 a game, but he's averaging 66.7 from the three-point range. If you look at here, you know, you got guard Grady. He's averaging 12 points a game, but he's averaging 44.2 from the three-point range, 47.4 for the two. So you got to force a lot of turnovers as Florida here in Kentucky. I think Kentucky is going to go in here and they're going to stomp. I think it's going to be an unconventional win here for number 5 Kentucky. If you look at their game here, the first game of the season they lost to Duke 79-71, and then they lost to Notre Dame 66-62, and then what it really has spelled them when they beat North Carolina at 98-68, and then they just went on a barrage all the way up till they lost to LSU, 65-60, and then they went on another barrage and lost to Auburn 80-71. And so since the Auburn game, they have been back to their winning ways, and they destroyed number 5 Kansas 80-62. And then they barely, won 7 points against Vanderbilt. So they're very, likely to play playable. So I mean, that's going to be what you're looking at here in this ball game. So I mean, this game is going to be really. I think it's going to be a 10-point win. I think they're going to make the 10. I think they're going to make the spread. I think this final score is going to be 81-71 Kentucky. So. That's what I think in this ball game here. Like I said, Kentucky's favored by 90.5 to 9.5 chance for Florida to win this ball game. So I agree with that. Let's go back here. Let's go here. We're gonna make our way up to number 9, our 9th game of the week here. And then we'll move off to basketball. I only have up to 9 games picked for today, so we're going to move away from that. Let's talk about the Duke and Boston College game here. I know it's going to be a lopsided game, but let's talk about it here. How does Coach K's farewell tour? We call that the Coach K farewell tour. He announced he was going to retire at the end of the ball season. He wants this little farewell douche, around the arena. So, I mean, they're favored 90% chance, 10% chance for Boston College to win. They're playing up in Boston College. The key for Boston College, they had to keep Pantero Benjiro. He's averaging 17.1, 47.8 field goal, 75 points on the line. Austin Langford is averaging 12.5, 40.9, 80 from the foul line. Langford has to go off today. And he needs help badly. He would need help badly. They need to hit a lot of threes and take control of the center and get some of the big guys for Duke in foul trouble. If they can do that, they can hang with Duke. If they can't do that, and if they let Duke get out in the first 10 minutes of this ball game, it lights out. That's simple as that. Let's look at it. Let's look at this here. If you really want to go to Vegas, this is part of the game you might want to go bet here. Team ranking is 76.2, 63.7. Duke's favored by 13 points, plus 13 for Boston College, plus 650 to minus 1,000, and over and under is 140.5. So, I mean, if you look at that here, if you look at what you see, situation here and stuff like that. So, I mean, if you look at that, if you look at this right here, this game right here, you can tell that this game here, I mean, look at this is the domination of a Duke team here. 80.3 points per game to 65.1. Rebounding, field goal, Duke leads 48.5 to 40.9. 39.3 for rebounding, 35.9. 17.4 to 11.4. 55 blocks, 5.5 for blocks, 3.2. 7.1 steals. They coming in on a 2-game losing streak. Duke coming on a 1-game losing streak. Michael said, Boston College just can't recruit. I'm good friends with Langford and his brother. A blowout. Yeah, I see. Yeah, I see what you're saying. But sometimes Langford does get off on a big note. He had big, strong games against North Carolina, but they lost. But I mean, they really played strong. They played strong basketball against them. I know North Carolina's not up to like a Duke. Paul, he got beat by Duke by 20 points in Dean Dome, but still, I mean, Boston College have given Duke troubles in the past up in Chestnut Hill, so they are playing in Chestnut Hill. Can Duke keep the same intensity here and stuff like that? So I mean, yeah, I figure it's gonna be a blowout. I think the final score is gonna be 80-65 myself, but you still can give if Langford still can ball out a little bit. I think Langford can give um, Duke a little bit of run for their money. And the thing what I'm talking about is if Boston College can make it through the first half close, get them a little bit of confidence to start the second half and put pressure on Duke. Sometimes the pressure on Duke can fall. Look at the Ohio State game when Duke lost. They let Ohio State stay in, and then, in the second half, it was just pandemonium, and Ohio State won that game. So, I mean, Duke's allowed teams to stay in, too. So, I mean, you're right on both things. If Langford can go off, but Langford's got to have teammates to help. That's going to be the big thing. That's got to be a big thing here too. Langford's got a ball, and then you got to have players, come out and say, "Hey, look, we got to help Langford out." And if they can have some big bombs from big 3-point range, and keep their, that's how you beat some of these good teams. If you can shoot lights out from that 3-point range, I mean, anything that 3-point range could turn a game around. So I mean, two things got to happen. If they can keep this game close all the way through the first half, if Duke jumps on in the first 10 minutes, then it's lights out. It's just going to be lights out. I mean, Duke's going to jump on you and it's going to keep pounding you until like 2 or 3 minute mark, and then Coach K decides to clear his bench. But still, I mean, if you keep the game close and stuff like that. So I mean, that's going to be a good thing. Yeah, you and I would be the yeah, true. So I mean, that's just the way we look at it here. Duke is a strong team at 20-4, 10-3 in conference play, 9-13, 4-8 in conference play. Just like I said, Boston College has given Duke problems up in Chestnut Hill, and I think it could be another problem. But I think, like I said, we know it's going to be a blowout. It's just going to be simple as that, as simple as fingers, 80.3 to 65.1. So I mean, that's going to be the telling of this ball game. That's going to be what can we say? Coach K's farewell tour. Yeah. Can Boston College pull that upset on his tour? Maybe. But then, like I said, you got to be bombs away. You gotta bomb away from that 3-point range. You got to have Langford to go out of his mind. I mean, let's look. I'll tell you what, this is what I need for Langford to have in this ball game. Let's take a look at his stats right quick. Langford is 12.5 points per game. Yeah, he's averaging 32.2 minutes a game. He's shooting 31% from the 3-point range, 40.9%. He's averaging 2.0 turnovers. He's averaging 0.3 blocks. He's averaging 1.3 steals, 3.1 assists, 3.7 rebounds. That's what I need Langford to have today. Langford needs 25, 10 rebounds, close to 6 assists, and then he's got to have teammates step up. He's got to have his his brother. His brothers got to step up. He's averaging 10.69 a game. I mean, I got to have Zachary step up. Zachary needs to be on double figures. The whole starting lineup needs to be in double figures. That's just blank. And then you need some of your bench players. You need at least 6 bench players to come in and be in double figures, and then have a couple of them meeting their standards. Like Galloway needs to be meeting his 7.1. Bickerstaff needs to have a blowout game here today. That's got to be the key. That's got to be the key in this ball game. That's got to be the way you look at it. This is the way you got to look at this ball game here. If these guys can have their stats rise to an unbelievable number, they can have a shot at beating Duke. That means some of Duke's players got to be struggling in the field. But if they get lights out like they did in the North Carolina game, then it's going to be lights out for Boston College. So, but I still think it's going to be 80-65 win for Duke. So, that's where we look at here in this Duke game. Let's see here. Let's see if I can pull out one more game here we could talk about here. Let's. Yeah, you gotta ask. Sometimes you gotta ask a lot when you play against a team like Duke. Sometimes you gotta. Let's put this in perspective a little bit. When a team sees a team with Duke or North Carolina or the Blue Bloods on there, that team is going to be up to play the game. But the question is, can they produce the numbers they need to win that game? That's going to be the question. I mean, I might be asking for a lot, but I mean, you're playing Duke. That's got to be a lot for you. That's got to be like, hey, all week. I don't know how that coaches. I don't know how the Boston College coach plans how to get their kids motivated. You know how you get kids motivated? Hey, you say, hey, everybody's talking like y'all are not going to beat Duke. Y'all can't beat Duke, blah, blah, blah. This is what the media is saying, but I can believe y'all can beat Duke. That's the coaches said. I can believe y'all can beat Duke. I believe y'all can hang with Duke. That's got to be the motivation into this game here. I mean, you playing Duke University, you're going to come in, you're going to go swinging for them. And sometimes when you go swinging at them, somebody's number is going to go up. It's just regardless of what is going to happen, somebody's number is going to go up. And I mean, the number is doable for both of the Langfords. I mean, I've seen them play this year. Some games they're up, some games they're down. And if they have their up game today, they can put some points on there. They can drive. They can drive and stuff. The question is, can they get Duke players in foul trouble too? That's going to be the big key. You got to get the thing. So. Yeah, I agree with you too. You ask them for a lot, but still, sometimes when you play Duke, you got to ask for a lot. You got to have your heart out there. So, yeah, but not to be enough. I understand. I believe it's going to be a 15-point, win anyway for Duke. It's just going to be regardless because if Boston College get blown out in the first 10 minutes, it's over. The first 10 minutes is going to be the big barometer in this game. The first 10 minutes. If Boston College can get confidence and hang with Duke in the first 10 minutes and then battle all the way out through the first half, be close at halftime, who knows what happens in that second half. Something could spark the kids in that locker room and say, hey, we close. We got this game. Let's go ahead and finish it. Let's go ahead and beat it. And then what we need to do to finish it. I mean, either playing defense or scoring. I mean, you got to have somebody, you got to step up and be the big person on the team. So I agree with you. I agree wholeheartedly with you, too. I mean, it's not going to be enough. I mean, you're talking number 5 team in the nation. And you're talking about Duke Blue Devils and Coach K's last farewell to us. So, and that's true. You must play with confidence. And that's going to be the key because Duke tried to take the confidence right out of you in the first 10 minutes of the ball game. They took it out of North Carolina in the first half. Second half, first 10 minutes in the second half, they just destroyed North Carolina. Yeah. Carolina was down by 11 at halftime. Come in that second half, and they did what they did in the first half, and they just kept pouring on, and North Carolina couldn't come back. So, I mean, I understand. I've seen a lot of North Carolina Duke games. I'm from North Carolina, so, I'm a Tar Heel fan. But, beside the point, Coach K's farewell tour, a lot of stuff could happen between now and then, too. So. Yeah, play with confidence. That's going to be the key. You got to play with confidence. So we're due up for our next commercial break. This is the All Sports, All Plays College Breakdown Show. We'll be right back.
All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we're making a place. You talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety, topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, they working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays. All All sports, all plays. Network. We on top of our game. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays.
What did you say?
I said Kobe Bean Bryant has been overrated ever since he passed away.
Now, I'd say they could lose about 4, but I don't see them losing 5. You know what I mean?
All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays.
This is the Fonx D Streaming Network. Register to come on our channel at fonxdnetwork.com.
Welcome back to the All Sports, All Plays College Breakdown. I'm Ray Cruz, your host. Mike's been out here commenting, doing a good job. So, thank you, Mike, for commenting and stuff like that. We'll need to work out some stuff to get you on the show next week and stuff like that. So we'll work in the background for that. Get it all worked out and make sure the time and all that stuff is capable for you too. So let's move right along here. I have a list of more basketball games and stuff here. So we broke down the Duke and Boston College game. We broke down the Florida and Kentucky game. Let's go with the TCU and Texas Tech game here coming up here. Let's talk about that game here. TCU is 16-5, 5-4 in conference play, and Texas Tech University is 18-6, 74 in conference play, number 9 ranked team in the nation. Texas Tech is 86.3% to 13.7%. So if you look at that stuff here, let's see here, Mike. I'm very impressed with your knowledge. You're better than me when it comes to college basketball, but I can't. And when it comes to NBA, I have had the pleasure of playing against 2 Hall of Famers, Dr. J and Nate Archibald. Yeah, come to basketball too. I have a little story. I got to play against Dominique Wilkins. He came to my hometown, and I played against Bud Webb too. When they came to my hometown, we had a thing called Color Fest when I was growing up, and Dominique came to our hometown and put on a basketball expedition. I got to play against him, and I got to play against Bud Webb too in the same, and different years, but same thing. So I played against Bud Webb. I played against Dominique. So that's my two basketball players. Famous basketball players I play. But also in high school, I played against Rodney Rogers too in high school. I played against him in football and played against him in basketball. So that's another guy I played against too. So, I have a little bit of playing history and stuff like that against some of the NBA players too. So, yeah, you might know a little bit more about NBA, but I still got my little basketball knowledge here and there with the NBA too. So, yeah, Rodney Rogers was nice until he got hurt in my hometown. 4-wheeler accident that paralyzed from the neck down. So yeah, it's too bad that it would happen to him through the 4-wheeler accident with the 4-wheeler, where he jumped the 4-wheeler and actually 4-wheeler landed back on top of him, paralyzed him from the waist down. That happened in my hometown of Henderson, North Carolina. So he's paralyzed from the neck down. So prayers go out to him, stuff like that. So Rodney Rogers was nice in high school. He was a good football player too. He played tight end at Durham Hillside also. So he was big in pads. If you see how big he was in basketball clothes, you see how big he was in football pads too. He was a man beast when playing that tight end position. TCU team ranking is 59.3 to 70.3 for team ranking. Texas Tech is favored by 10.5 points. So that puts Texas Christian 10 points, 5 underdog there. The money line is plus 450 for TCU, minus 650 for Texas Tech. 127.5 is the over and under in this ball game. If you want to go and take that to Vegas, you can go right ahead. But I'm just putting some numbers out there. If you want to take my advice, you can go ahead and do it. If you don't, that's fine with you. So that's up to you. That's the disclaimer here. Do not blame me if you lose money on your betting. I'm just telling you what the numbers were. Let's see here. Texas Christian TCU is 69.1 points per game to Texas Tech 73.5. Field goal is 43.3 for TCU, 46.8 for Texas Tech. Rebound is 35.5 for Texas Tech to 41.0 for Texas Christian. Says it's 14.0 for Texas Tech, for Texas Christian to 13.8 for Texas Tech. Block is TCU 4.0 to Texas Tech 36.6. And then you got your turnover 8.0 steals for Texas Tech to 6.2 for TCU. Texas Tech comes in on one game losing streak. They lost to Oklahoma 70-55 at Oklahoma. And Texas Tech comes in beating Oklahoma State 77-73 at home. So, I mean, if you look at that, one game industry coming in here, the tail of the tape here for Texas Tech, it's going to be, let's step a little bit further into this argument here. Who is going to win this ball game? I believe the keys of this game here is Texas Tech score inside and outside. 46.8 in the 2-point range, 31.3 in the 3-point range. Their Fort is leading at 45.6% at 3-point range. He's 52.7 in the 2-point range, and he is 13.3 points per game. And they got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All starting 5 is averaging double figures. 13.3 for Williams, McClure with 11.0. Shannon Jr. with 10.9. Openar with 10.3 and Warren with 10.0. And then they have people coming off the bench like Arms at 7.8 and Santos Leyva at 5.0. So, and then still got a little bit of production. They play like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. They play almost 11 people deep. I mean, that's a deep team for Texas Tech. So I mean, so the nutrition here for that is it's going to be very, very nice and very complex and very a very key game. This is going to be a balanced attack. They got to go inside outside. Inside outside wins this ball game. So that's going to be a good tape for that. Let's go look a little bit inside for Texas Christian University here. Let's go a little bit deeper in their scenario here, how they're going to have to play here in their stats. And that's like this. It's got to be defense, offense, defense. And you got to play broad. If you play more, if you can get in the zone, if you can mix up your defense, college basketball, that's got to be the key. A lot of teams play man-to-man too much. And sometimes they get burned and get beat off of that. So if you go in and mix it up a little bit, that makes teams, they got to prepare more for, like, if you go mix it up into a zone. I mean, if you show zone more in one game and completely dismantle a team, it can, then they have seen you play a zone. All of a sudden you surprise them with a 2-3 zone with a trap, out of it. I mean, that's what Dean Smith used to do. Dean Smith used to be very good at playing offense, playing defense with the offense, with the four corners until they put the shot clock in. With the four corners. Dean Smith's also played changeable defense too. He'll run the man-to-man. One time you see him come in a 2-3 with a 2-3 trap, or just a straight out 2-3, or sometimes you can see a 1-3-1 with the trap out of 1-3-1. I mean, we don't see that in money. How many college basketball teams besides Syracuse have you seen them play a zone, a 2-3 zone with a trap, or 1-3-1 zone, or a boxing one? I mean, teams have not played really. Most teams are playing man-to-man now, straight man-to-man. I mean, sometimes you gotta mix up that defense. You mix up that defense, and then all of a sudden you're gonna get teams out of array. And that's what you want to pull in some of these upsets. That's what you got to do. You got to mix your defense up. If you look at this, then this is what I'm telling you. Texas Christian has to shoot better from the 3-point range. There's 29.7 from 3-point range, and they're 43.3 in the 2-point range. So they got to shoot better than that. There's, the best 3-point shooter on their team is at 36.9. That's O'Bannon Jr. at 24 minutes and stuff like that. So, I mean, you got to really, 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 really play some defense. Shoot lights out with the crowd, and that's gonna be a lot of game plan, a lot of stuff that you need to take. That's gotta be a lot of stuff that you need to look at here in this ball game. I mean, you gotta play defense, you gotta mix it up, and if you don't mix it up, I mean, I'm gonna tell you what, film technology today. You got these iPads, you got these tablets, you got the game plan. Teams put them on these tablets. You put you on the plane. And then 9 times out of 10, what you're seeing, man-to-man defense, man-to-man defense, man-to-man defense. If you play a zone and break that tendency sometimes, all you got on tape is man-to-man defense. What's going to happen when you put a zone out there? Okay, we got to get a timeout here. We got to get reset up. If you play multiple defense and change your defense up, you can win a lot more games and you can pull a lot more upsets. And I'm telling you, Dean Smith was good at that. Dean Smith was great at that. He'll switch that defense up on you in a heartbeat. Excuse me. I mean, so if you look at that, what I'm telling you is, teams don't play that anymore. What happened in the 80s? 80s, man, we played multiple defense. We didn't see man-to-man all the time. We didn't see 90% man-to-man and 10% of something else. Teams mixed it up. Teams mixed up the play. I mean, you had teams like Georgetown, they had players that could play man-to-man. And if you don't mix it up and try to force turnovers where you can get in transition games, teams are going to be hurting. That's what hurt Carolina. They don't play enough interchangeable defense. They don't force enough turnovers so they can get on that fast break. I mean, that's what they're known for. They're known for transition baskets. And get out on the break and get that secondary, 3-point range shot at that secondary break. That's what Carolina's famous for, was the secondary break. And that will kill people in a heartbeat, because you think they're going for a transition, they stop the transition, boom, they kick it back out. And they got a guy in that secondary break who's sitting there behind the 3-point line who makes it. And that really kills teams in the transition aspects. You got to have a secondary break, you got to have an initial break, and you got to play defense. And Carolina was known for, back in the day, Carolina was known for, shouldn't you call them across half court, they're going to put pressure on, they're going to try to trap you. They played a 1-3-1 trap. They played a 2-3 zone with a 2-3 zone trap. They played the man-to-man with the trap. You don't see that no more from Carolina. You see straight man-to-man, and they getting blown out left and right. So I mean, if you look at what we're talking about here, I mean, that's what Texas Christian is going to have to do here today. They're going to have to play great defense, because they can't shoot the ball from the 3-point range. They're only averaging 29.7%. And 43% in 2-point range. So, I mean, they're shooting under 50% here as a team, So, and they're only averaging 69.1 a game. So, I mean, what's going to take here in this ball game? I think Texas Tech is going to win it. I think Texas Tech is going to win it by 5. I think it's going to be 75-70 in this ball game. So, it's going to be a little bit of a defensive battle. But Texas Tech's got enough shooters to win this game if it's a close game. Texas Christian don't. So if Texas Christian can jump out on them, and that might be a plus, but I don't see that happening, because Texas Tech's pretty good on defense. So something's going to have to play up here in this ball game. My guy Rodriguez, he is watching also. He was great. I'm going to bring so many to your show that this is what the con man does. Yeah. So more and more merry, more guests alone. That's what we need. Need some more guests on the show too. So straight out talking here in stats and stuff, bring some more interest and stuff, dynamics to the team. I mean, I'm good for it. We can go for it. We can bring stuff in, get the show improve a little bit more. I'm a person that, welcomes to change, can change a little bit, formats a little bit, add more stuff to it. I mean, we get more guests on this show. Hey man, we'd be great to go. We get the audience here, we get a lot of people going. So I'm just sorry that I was being congested today. Allergies really kicking in really bad here. So I'm trying to stick it out here for the full 3 hours. If I can't, I'll let y'all know. Sorry for the inconvenience. I didn't think that my sinuses was going to come into play today, but it has come in play very, very well here. So I'm hoping to get some interesting dialogues here. I'm hoping getting y'all some good information here for these ball games today, what you can watch out for and stuff. So let's continue right along here in this college breakdown show. Let's break some more college basketball breakdowns here. If we get to the football, we do. If we don't, football season will be coming back around. We got a lot more shows coming up here between now and football season too. So let's look at here. Let's look at the. Hey, let's look at number 23, Mary State and Morehead State. Yes, you heard me right. Number 23, Mary State is coming in at number 23. They're 23-2, 13-0 in the OVC, Ohio Valley Conference. Morehead State comes in at 19-7, 11-2 in the Ohio Valley Conference. This is a good chance for Morehead State to pull within one game of Murray State in the race for the Ohio Valley Championship contest. Let's look at this ball game here. This is going to be Murray State 74% on the matchup predictor to Morehead's 26%. Murray State has a 7-point. Kent Williams, the forward for Murray State, is 17.2 points per game, 53.4 field goal, and 67.0% from the foul line. And Broom, the forward out of Morehead, is 16.7, 56.4, and 67.7. So that's going to be the interesting matchup right there. Is the two forwards going up against each other. Who can stay out of foul trouble and who can make their foul shots? And basically, they're shooting under 70% in their foul shooting. So they got to improve that here. This game, teaming is Murray State 67.6 to Morehead State 65.5. The point spread is Murray State is favorite. Morehead State is favorite. Murray State is favored by 3. He makes a +3 for Morehead State. The money line is a -150 for Murray State, a +130 for Morehead State, and 133.5 is the over and under here. Murray is 80.9 points per game and 70.3 for Morehead. 40.3 to field goal percentage of 46.1. Murray State's got the lead over Morehead. The rebounding is 39.3 for Murray to Morehead's 36.7. 15.7 for Murray to 16.5 for Morehead. And then the block shots is 5.7 for Morehead at 3.1 and the 8.1 for steals and the 6.1 for Murray State. Murray State has coming in, believe it or not, they're coming in hot. Won the last 13 games. Morehead's coming in with a 1-game losing streak. Morehead lost to Bellevue, or either Bellevue or Belmont, 48-47. And then Murray State is coming in against Tennessee TNST, I think it's Tennessee State, 73-62 was the victory there. Morehead is playing very good basketball. Let's take a look at this. Let's take a look at Morehead State right quick. I want to see what their shooting percentage is as a team and in the 3-point range here. So I just want to take a look and see what we got here on the stats sheet here for this. We got Morehead. Jay Broom is 16.5. You got Broom at 10.7 rebounds. So he's averaging a double-double. Cooper with 6.2 assists and 1.0 steal for Potter, and then Broom with 3.7 blocks. So Broom is their stud. He's playing 27.7 minutes a game. He's not the most. The most on the team is as Cooper, who was averaging 9 points a game, but he's playing 33.8 minutes. He played in the last 26 games. And the 3-point range is the 36-9 and 46-1. That makes him a little bit okay. Outside, inside game going for Murray State there. That's going to be the big key. Broom's got to have a big day on the defensive end. I think if he gets like 5 or 6 more blocks in this ball game, and can make him a total effectively, that could produce this ball game. I mean, this game is going to be close. And I think Morehead, Murray State coming in a 13-game winning streak right now. They are desperate to, up for an upset here. There could be an upset here for Morehead State. They're playing at Morehead. So, I mean, that's going to be a home game for Morehead, get them within 1 game of the lead of the Ohio Valley Conference. And, I mean, that's going to be big. Be really big for them in this ball game here. I want to go take a look at Murray State here and see what their performance is on their side here. Once again, I got an allergy problem. Sorry about that. If you hear sniffling and stuff like that, it's just my allergy is just kicking in really bad right now because I live in Florida and the heat starting to come around. Pollen is starting to drop down early here in the state of Florida. If you look at it here, it's even better. 35.5% from 3-point range and 48.3% in the 2-point range. Williams is averaging 27.6 minutes. He plays the same amount of minutes, but he's averaging 28. He's at 28.9, so he can carry your big guy out to the 3-point range line a little bit here. So that's going to be a big thing, too. If they can bring him out to the 3-point line and Williams starts hitting their 3-pointers, that's going to be a dangerous thing, too. And that's going to have to lighten up a little bit of their man-to-man type game. So that's going to be a little bit of an issue and a little bit of a deterrence here, in this ball game. So you got to look at this straight here. How do you stop Williams? You hope you can keep him at the 3-point range if he's not making, and not letting him get inside. If he gets inside and start dominating inside, and then gets Broom in foul trouble, that's going to be a big blow for Morehead State. That's got to be the key to getting Broom in foul trouble and getting Williams staying out of foul trouble and hoping he can hit his threes and extend the game out a little bit beyond the inside-outside game so you can't really get a fix on him. That's going to be the big plays here. I think Murray State continues that winning streak. I think Murray State wins 63-60 in this ball game. Alrighty. So we're moving right along here. If you haven't seen the show before, we try to run our breaks at the half hour. Every half hour, we put the breaks on. Make time to give people get some water, what they need to do real quick, and jump back into the contest here. So we do the breaks every top of the hour and the bottom of the hour. So we do 2 breaks within the hour, within 30 minutes. So that way it gives our sponsors and stuff a condition to, and also gives time for the analysts to get their notes prepared for the next segment. So that's why we try to break it down into 30-minute segments for the break. So I just want to keep everybody advised what we do here on the All Sports All Plays College Breakdown Show. This is a 3-hour show. Like I said, I'm going to try to make it to the full 3 hours today. My sinus is acting up a little bit here today. Let's go here. Let's see here. Let's go here and put it on. Okay. All right, let's go here. Let's do the Marquette, number 18 Marquette versus Butler. This is another Big East contest. This is a 16-8, 8-5 Big East for Marquette to Butler's 11-13, 4-9 in the Big East. This is at the Hinkey Fieldhouse in Indianapolis, Indiana. Marquette is favored by 3.5 points. The over-and-under is 132. Let's break it into this game a little bit here. Let's break it down here. Marquette in the matchup predictor is 74.6% to 25.4 for Butler. Jay Lewis for Marquette is 16.6 points per game, 44.7 from the field goal range, and 75.5 from 3 free throws. And then you got the guard Harris for Butler, 10.3 34.8 and 78% from the foul line. Let's take a look here at the team rankings. Marquette is 69.0, DeButler 65.0. Marquette's favored by 3.5 points. The money line is Marquette minus 170 to plus 145 for Butler. And I told you the 132. So if you want to go make the bets on that line, you can go right ahead. Don't make blame me if you lose. I'm just reading the numbers out for you. I'm trying to make you aware of what the numbers are. You bet on your personal opinions, but don't bet. I'm just giving you something to look at based off your opinions. All righty. Marquette they average 74.0 to 62.4 for Butler. 45.1 for Marquette. Field goal percentage to 41.6 field goal percentage for Butler. Rebound is Marquette at 35.3, 32.3 for Butler. 16.8 for Marquette, 11.0, 5.2 for blocks at 2.7 for Butler, 8.1 steals for Marquette, 5.1 for Butler. Marquette comes in losing one game on a one-game losing streak till Butler coming in on a 3-game losing streak. Butler lost to Creighton, 54-52. The last 3 losses have been 2, 3, and 2. The Xavier lost 68-66. St. John's loss was 75-72. Creighton was 54-52. When they won was 56-53 over Georgetown, and then they beat Creighton 72-55 on January 26th. So they just lost to them on about 2 points here. So, and if you look at Marquette, 1-game loss is 80-72 to UConn at UConn. So, I mean, there's another Big East team there in UConn with part of the old Big East Conference. So, I mean, if you look at that, and if you look too, Marquette did lose to Providence, 65-63. So, I mean, that's another thing too that you got to look at too. Providence, one of those stable teams that was in the Big East too. So, I mean, you got that old vibe with some of the new vibes. So, we know a little bit about Providence and stuff like that. So, if you look at this thing, let's take a little look in Butler's situation here. Let's see if I can break it down for you where they're missing some of where they need to extend their play at in this ball game here today. Butler here is the team leaders are 10.3 for Harris for points. Rebounding is 3.9 for Golden, 4.0 for Thompson, and 1.5 for Thompson. And then Thompson also with 0.3 blocks. So that's their team leaders in the categories. If you look here, they're shooting 31.1% from the 3-point line, 41.6 from the 2-point line. So, I mean, the defense it looks like it could be a little bit of a problem here. They do force 5 steals, and they do have 2 blocks per game in this situation here. But the thing is, they only have one person averaging in double figures at 10.3, but they play a lot of guys. They play 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. They play 9 at the most, and most times here. So, I mean, they got people who are averaging 9.1, 8.8, 8.6, 8.1, 7.9, 7.3, 6.0, and 4.5. But their best 3-point shooter is Golden at 35.7. If Wellmont does come in the game, he's averaging 42.9, but he's only played in 17 games, but he's only averaging 1.8 1.8 points a game. So he doesn't play much. So that's another thing too. They got to rev up that 3-point line, and this is the key. They got to stop here in Marquette. Marquette plays very outstanding basketball. They play running gun. They play their type of style of basketball, and they're averaging 74.0 a game here. Let's take a look and see what they look at in that 3-point barrage and stuff here in this ball game here today. And I can really tell you how you can break this college basketball season down here. This has been an unusual season. Number one teams just fell for a lot, things too. I think college basketball used to be blue bloods, Duke and Carolina and all them getting it, but now the recruits are mixing in to different places and stuff like that. So I mean, college basketball up here is changing the landscape. I mean, the landscape of basketball is changing. The NILs are, changing the way football and college basketball are looking at it too. And players now are getting paid and they're looking at better deals. So the college they want to go to, they're looking at better deals to get money in their pockets too. So you can't blame them too. They're using everything to their advantage. And then the transfer portal too is really lighting up on both sides of the college basketball world and the college basketball. If you're not getting playing time at one school, you can go in the transfer portal and go get playing time. Look at Wesley Kessler for North Carolina. He went from North Carolina to Auburn, and he's doing pretty good down in Auburn. So, I mean, you can't blame the kids. You can't blame nobody. Using the resources they have to get more playing time, to get more outlets, get more, advantage looking at what they're doing. So, I mean, it's a nice little breeds here and stuff like that. So, they're shooting 35.4 and they're shooting 45 points. So they got an inside-outside game. Their best three-point shooter is Elliott at 47.6. Lewis, the four, is shooting 34.7. And, I mean, they really don't have a center. They play a lot of forts, a lot of fort guys. So they get quicker on the court. They extend the court out. So if you got a big guy, it's going to be a little bit hard. They get a lot of mismatch. And if Marquette can take care of the mismatch and jump out on this team quick and early, this could be a high-scoring game. But I think this game is going to be a pretty close game at the start. But I think Marquette's going to pull it out by 10. 74-64 is the final score. So, all right, we're going to go ahead and take our top of the hour break. This is the All Sports, All Place College Breakdown. This is Ray Cruz, and we'll be right back after these commercial breaks.
All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making a place. You talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety, topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, they working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays. Network. All sports, all plays. Network. We on top of our game. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays.
What did you say?
I said Kobe Bean Bryant has been overrated ever since he passed away.
Now, I'd say they could lose about 4, but I don't see them losing 5. You know what I mean?
All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays.
This is the Fonx D Streaming Network. Register to come on our channel at fonxdnetwork.com.
Welcome back to the All Sports, All Place College Breakdown Show. I'm Ray Cruz here. Dre usually be joining me, but he's on assignment today, so I'm doing the show solo. And people always ask me, when you do a show solo, how do you do a 3-hour show? My secret is you make sure you have 3 cups of water for every hour to keep it filled. You got to have enough content to talk about, and you got to have a knowledge to talk about. And college football is one of my best knowledge I have, and I know how to keep it entertaining. So you can just leave your comments if you think the show has been entertaining, if you're learning something educational too about the different aspects of the way I come at college basketball and the terminology and the way you keep the unpredictable under situation thing. So I'm hoping I keep everybody entertained for the all the way up to 12 o'clock tip-off time. It's usually say kickoff time, but right now we're doing basketball, so we'll be taking you right up to tip-off time at 12 o'clock here today on the All Sports, All Place Network. So let's move right along here on this breakdown. We're our number we're going to be cutting down here on number 13. This will be our 13th team that we have broken down here today. We're trying to get 18 teams in within the next 57 minutes. So let's keep moving along here. Number 13 here, we're going to go with number 4 Arizona versus, we're going to go out into the Pac-12. Number 4 Arizona versus Washington. 21-2 with Arizona, 11-1 in the Pac-12, 13-9, 8-4 in the Pac-12. Arizona's favored by 14.5 in this ball game. Over and under is 150.5. Let's break into this game a little bit more here. Arizona is 90.9% chance to win the game at a 9.1%. Barry Mathurin, the guard at Arizona, 16.7, 46.3 field goal percentage, 75.5 free throw. Brown Jr. is a guard out of Washington. He's averaging 21.8, 45.9, 76.0 from the three-point line. Arizona's 83.5 team ranking at 68.0. Arizona's 14.5 favorite. The plus 700 for Washington, that minus 1,100 on the money line. The over and under is 150.5. If you look at the numbers on the tail of the tape on the on this team, you have Arizona's 84.6, 64.9 for points against. They're allowing 64.9 points against. Washington is 70.9. They're allowing 71.5. 48.4 for Arizona for field goal percentage, and 48.8 for Washington field goal percentage. 20.8 assists at 10.8. 6.3 for Arizona and 4.6 for Washington. And then you got a 6.8 steals average to 9.0 for Washington. Washington's coming on a 1-game winning streak. Arizona has maintained a 5-game winning streak. Washington game they beat Arizona State 87-64 at home. Arizona coming in to beat Washington State at Washington State 72-60. And they did beat Arizona State in 91-79. So that's the tail of that tape here. The 10,000 seats capacity stadium today is going to be at the Alaska Airlines Arena up in Washington. So it's Alaska Airlines Arena. And so let's go a little further here for Washington. Let's see what Washington can. Let's see what kind of positive we can get out of Washington today. Let's see what kind of positive we can get out of Washington here today. And let's go a little deeper into the stats here. I like to bring in the stats. Brown leads at 21.8. Rebounds is Robert 6.5. Brown leads in assists at 4.4. Brown leads in the steals at 2.4. And then Roberts leads at 0.8 for blocks. If you look at it here, domination here. At 31.8 is pretty good. It's okay for 3-point range, and 40.8 is not good for 2-point range. So they're having problems shooting inside and outside. So if you get Arizona gets defense, I think Arizona can rock them. If Arizona gets out in the lead in the first 10 to 15 minutes of this ball game, I think Washington's going to have a hard time crawling back into this game because they have no shooters really from the 3-point range. They can keep the ball right. Somebody's really going to have to step up in this ball game. That's going to be the key here. Can somebody step up in this ball game? And if they can't step up in this ball game, so that's going to be a lot of pressure, a lot of stuff, a lot of things. And once again, and what has brought back the key themes in this show right now is nobody's playing any changeable defense. I mean, Syracuse sticks to that 2-3 zone. They don't change the variation of it. They don't want to really play zone. Everybody else plays man-to-man. So, I mean, you're working against man-to-man defense every day. When is team going to bring back the multiple interchangeable defense? I'm telling you, teams going to have to bring back the multiple changeable defense. And that's the only thing. I mean, you got to play a zone. You got to mix your defense up. You can't have a one set defense. I mean, you got to set a pressure up. You got to set a, deep variations out of the defense. You got to put a trap in somewhere. I know athletes, you got to have athletes to do the trapping, but I mean, still, you could do that. You could force turnovers. That's how you force turnovers. And we don't see too many people putting full court pressure like it's supposed to be. You know, the 2-3 full court pressure with Carolina was dominant back in the day because the two guards force you down to the sideline, and boom, you're 30, and that guy in that three out of the three on the back line. I mean, you put the pressure in defense, or you see Carolina do the 1-2-1. You know, the 1-2. You know, the 1-2-1. One guard, two at the half court, and one in the back. I mean, there's a lot of variations you can do out of that. They had what you call a 1-2-1 trap. That one guy tried to force it to the sideline. One of the two guys on the line was started forcing the trap, and then you got the guy playing the back by the goal. I mean, it's just that's not how these coaches don't think. Playing multiple defense, everybody wants to play this man to man, and sometimes you get beat by a man to man, and you have nothing to fall back on, and it's too late. So I mean, if Washington come out and play some zone and cut them as turnovers out, they might have a chance. But I don't see the 14.5. I do see a 10-point victory. I do see 84-74 in this ball game. I'm giving it to Arizona, but I only give it to about 10. So, like you said, if you take my stuff to Vegas and try to bet, hey, don't blame me because I ain't tell you to bet it. I'm telling you what I'm feeling. What I'm feeling about this game right now is a 10-point victory. It's 84-74, Arizona. All righty, let's move right along here. Let's bring up our next game here. Our next game will be the Ohio State versus Michigan game. That's going to be a little bit of a tell of a tape here, and this could be an easily 50-50 split here on the projector who's going to win this ball game. Number 16 Ohio State comes in at 14-6, 7-4 in the Big Ten. 13-9 Michigan coming in 7-5. Juwan Howard it's not playing up to the speed that he played in the first two seasons at Michigan. Michigan is favored by 2 point. Is underdog by 2 point. Favored by 2.5. Over and under. I'm sorry, they're the underdog. No, they're 2.5 favored. Oh, that's unbelievable. They're playing in Michigan. Michigan is favored by 2.5. Over and under is 140.5. So let's break this game down a little bit here. Let's go a little bit of depth here. And what I said, this could be a little bit of Michigan's favorite, 65.7% on the matchup predictor, the 34.3 for Ohio State. Lilly, the forward out of Ohio State, 19.7, 51.9 field goal percentage, 72.7 from the free throw line. Dickens is 18.3 points per game, 57.7 field goal, 78.8 free throw. I mean, and then you got 67.8 team ranking, 70.3 team ranking. Michigan is plus 2.5 against the spread for Ohio State. The favorite is 2.5 for Michigan, and they were 2.7. 145 to plus 225, 140 over. The scoring is pretty close at 75.1 points per game for Ohio State to 72.8 for Michigan. Both teams are giving up 67.9 to 67.9 for Ohio State to 67.8 for Michigan. Florida's field goal percentage is 47.8, 47.9, 35.6, 36.2 in the rebounding for both teams. Ohio State at 14.9 assists to Michigan's 14.2, so the assists is pretty close, and it's only a disparity of 0.7. Blocking is 4.8 to 2.8. Stealing is 4.8 to Ohio State at 4.5, so both teams play defense. Michigan is coming on a 2-game winning streak, 1-game losing streak. Rutgers, they lost to Rutgers 66-64. Ohio State did, and Michigan is coming off a win against Purdue at 82-58. So they knocked off Purdue. Purdue was playing good at the beginning of the season. They look like they've been slacking off a little bit in these ball games. They're playing in Ann Arbor, Michigan. They're playing at the Chrysler Center. 12,707 people in this contest here. So let's take a look. Let's take a look here at Ohio State a little bit. Let's take a number. Let's go into the numbers for Ohio State here and see what where they lacking at a little bit here. They're 37.8 to 47.8. So they're a pretty good team inside and outside. They're shooting under 50% in the two, and they're shooting under 40% in the 3-point range. So they got 3-point capabilities. They got the Ford Lilly, who's averaging 40.5 from the 3-point range. He's averaging 19.7, 7.6 rebound, 3. I mean, he can throw the ball, he can pass the ball, and he got some good blocks, and then he's averaging 2.6 turnovers. So he has to keep the turnovers a minimum in this ball game. Branham is 27 minutes. He's also at a 43.6% 3-point shooter. He's at 10.9 points, and he also gives a 1.9 assists, and does in terms of all of it 1.3 times. So he turns the ball once every game. So I mean, that's pretty good numbers. They got good ball handlers. They average 11.2 turnovers total so far this season. So that's pretty good. So I mean, they can get all these numbers here. If they can get these numbers here, and they got 2 people in double figures, and the rest of them is averaging 9.4, 8.3, 6.9. So that's pretty good for Ohio State there. Let's look at Michigan here. Let's see where Michigan has improved here in their stat lines and trying to get everything straightened up here. So let's see how they improved here. So, all right, I'm bringing up some of my stats here. I'm bringing up some more stats here for this ball game. Just prepare with me here. I'm backed all the way up too far. Let's see here. I'm bringing out some of the knowledge here on you. Let's see here, Michigan. We talked about Ohio State. This game is at 6 p.m. Eastern time. So you got a little bit of wait for this one here. This one's at 11:15 right now. So, so let's go look at here. All right, let's look here. If you look at them, they're at 35.5 and 47.2. So they're just like Ohio State. So this could be a battle of the 3-point line, the 2-point line, everything else. Which team can play defense is going to be a good key here in the barometer here. Just like Ohio State, Michigan also has a center shooting 41.0% from 3-point range, and they have a guard that's shooting 40.4 from 3-point range, and they got some more people. So they can extend the court, they can extend the floor out for a little bit here too, and that's going to be a deploy that how Juwan Howard deploys their defense. That's going to be a good question, and how they can stop the contention, because it looks like both teams got some mismatch issues here. The center can stand out their center through the 3-point range. Their center cannot do that for Ohio State, so it's a little bit of a minus plus there for the situation here. So I'm just going to go, since it's playing in the crisis zone and Michigan's hard to beat in the crisis center. I'm going to say Michigan will win, and I'm going to say the final score is 79-77. It's going to be a high score. It's going to be a good game, and it's going to be a 2-point victory by Michigan. All righty. Moving right along. All righty. So let's continue right along here. We're breaking it down here. We're getting close to the end of the breakdown of the show here. Probably going to stop a little early. My throat is not going to take too much longer. Yeah, I hate when I have sinuses because it takes down in my throat and it tickles it and gets it very irritating here. So we're going to try to break these last 4 games down here. We're going to move right into the SEC. We're going to go into Vanderbilt versus number 19 Tennessee for this ball game here. All right, let's go right along here. 93.2% for Tennessee over Vanderbilt at 6.8. Jerry Stackhouse, Stevens, Vanderbilt. Pippen Jr. is 18.7, 42.0, 71.9 percentage. And Vescovia, the guard for Tennessee, at 13.8 and 42.9 and 73.7. So, I mean, Vanderbilt's got a talented Pippen Jr. there. Team's ranking is Vanderbilt at 59.7 and Tennessee at 72.4. The point spread is 11.5 for Vanderbilt. Tennessee is favored by 11.5 plus 55.50 for the money line, negative minus 800 for the Tennessee Vols. Over and under is 132.5. Vanderbilt comes in at 69.0 to Tennessee 74.5. Points against is 65.2 for Vanderbilt, 63.0 for Tennessee, 41.7% field goal for Vandy, 43.9 for Tennessee, 34.4 for rebounds for Vandy to 36.2. Vandy's 11.3 for assists to 16.9 for Tennessee, 30.1 blocks for Vandy to 4.3 for blocks for Tennessee, 7.4 steals to Vandy to 10.1 steals for Tennessee. Both teams come in with a winning streak. Vandy comes in with a 2-game winning streak, and the Tennessee is coming in with a 3-game winning streak. I'm sorry. And Vandy's last beat was Missouri 70-62, and Tennessee's last win was Mississippi State 72-63. So that's what we're looking at right now. So this capacity is 21,678, and this is the Thompson Bowling Arena in Knoxville, Tennessee. So everything is big in Tennessee. Let's take a look at the numbers here a little bit here for Vandy. I want to see how Vandy can pull a little bit of a mismatch here. If they can do that, I don't know if they can do that. I think Pippen is leading them in points, 18.7. Wright with 6.3 rebounds. Pippen with 3.7 assists. Pippen with 1.8, and then you have Marola Brown 1.2. Pippen is shooting 31.5% from 3-point range. So he gets to the line pretty good at 71.9% from the line. The best 3-point shooter is Chapman, but he's only played 9 games at 41.9, and then Schumann at 42.2 with 23 games. They do shoot 33.2%, but they shoot 41.7%. They're gonna have to pick up their 2-point shooting a little bit in this ball game. They're gonna max out that 3-point. You have a chance here. Let's take a little bit of a numbers here, and I can give you a clear pinpoint where the mismatch is going to be in this ball game today, and that's going to be part of the guard play and Pippen and Tennessee's guard play here for this game. So let's take a look here. That scorer, he's at 39.2%, 42.9% from 2-point range. He's averaging over 30 minutes a game. He's 13.8, but Chandler is right close by at 13.5, 32.5% from there. Nakahua is 44.8 for Tennessee, and that's going to be the advantage right there. He's a 40. You stretch him out. That's going to be the big play there because, Tennessee is shooting 34.6, 43.9. Both teams are not really a good shooting team. They do play great defense. Tennessee is a little bit better. I think Tennessee's defense is going to give Vanderbilt a little bit of a trouble and the pressure of the guard. But I think Pippen has a slight advantage over Vescovia. I think that's the name, Vescovia. I think he has a better chance in dominating the guard play a little bit better. And if the guard play is dominated a little bit better, if he shoots right on and they can't really stop him, that could give Vanderbilt a little bit of trouble. Tennessee a little bit of trouble there in their defense. So I want to see how Tennessee comes out and plays his defense here. I think the score is going to be closer than what people thought. I think the score is going to be 70-68. I think Tennessee wins by 2 because Pippen is going to give them a little bit of trouble that they cannot handle. All right. Let's move right along here. And we're going to go with DePaul. We're going to move right along. We're going to move right down here to the DePaul Blue Demons. Yeah. DePaul comes in at 12-10, 3-9 in the Big East. Providence comes in at 20-2 and 10-1 in the Big East. It looks like Providence is winning the Big East. We're gonna go down the Big East, and we're gonna go down some of the standings hopefully too. The Blue Demons is having a tough season this year. I'm just playing at the Dunkin', I think it's the Dunkin' Donuts Center in Providence. What a name, Dunkin' Donuts. They got them a stadium in Providence. Huh? That's pretty good. DePaul comes in at 63.1, team rankings at 71.7 for Providence. Providence is a 9.5 favorite, plus 9.5 against the spread for DePaul, plus 360 in the money line, negative 475, minus 475 in the money line for Providence. 133.5 is the over and under. So that's your line if you want to go to bed. The Blue Demons does outscore, averaging 73 points per game to 70.7 Providence, but DePaul is also giving up 70.3. Providence is only giving up 64.2. So a little bit better defense between the two teams there. 43.5 field goal percentage for DePaul, 44.2 for Providence. So the shooting party very even. Rebounds 38.7 for DePaul, 36.9. So DePaul can now rebound them. Assists comes to assists in plays, 11.2 for DePaul, and Providence coming at 13.5. The block shots at 54, 5.4 for block shots at 3.9. Still play DePaul at 6.1 to 5.3. DePaul has come in with a 2-game winning streak, and Providence is coming in with a 7-game winning streak. Both teams, last team they both played was Georgetown. DePaul won 82-74, and Providence blew them out 71-52. So that's the common opponent of the last two there they have played in the recent weeks. So let's dig into numbers for number 11 Providence. All right, let's look at here. You got Watson at 13.5. Horclera, I think that's the name, Horclera. It's 8.5 rebounds. Bynum is 4.1. Bynum is at 1.2 for steals. And block shots is Watson at 0.9. Watson does not go outside, so it's going to be a low post game for him. He's averaging 13.5. He's dominant pretty round. Basket's shooting at 55.7, but he's foul shooting, so if you put him on the line, he's close 70%, he's 60.5. You're looking at Durham at 23.2 for three-point range. You're looking at him at 13.3. He's the second leading scorer in the game. Team, if you look at the three-point line, and number 18 for Bynum, he's at 45.5. 22 games for Horclera at 43.0. Both members are shooting 46.1 and 44.2 from the three-point range. Durham is shooting 33.6 from the two-point range. If you look at the bench scoring here, it's very low bench scoring, so the starters played most of the minutes. So that's going to be a little bit of a key here. How can the defense deploy? That Providence will, deploy it on DePaul. DePaul, if you look at DePaul's record, but they have won the last two games. Let's see what they have improved on in these few games here. So let's look at what DePaul is doing here for this here. DePaul Blue Demons stats at 20, 21, 22. 14.5, 76.6, 3.2. Jones at 14.5 leading scorer. Jones is also at 7.6 for rebounds. Terry's at 3.1 for assists. And Jones is at 1.8 for steals, and Oganya is 2.0 for block shots. Their center, their guard play. The center does not go down. He's averaging 8.6. He's got to be dominant inside. If he's dominant inside, the ball could give Providence a little bit of trouble there inside. But right now, if you look at the guard percentage here. Play their best three-point shooter is Freeman Liberty. He's only playing 16 minutes at 38.6, but he's averaging 21.1 points per game. If he's averaging 21.1 game, he should be the leading scorer, not Jones. But he's only played 16 games, so that might be why he doesn't qualify. And if you look at this thing here for Providence, where they averaging 73.8 game here, The key here is they're only shooting 32.0 for the thing, but they're shooting 43.5 from the 2-point range. So they're giving them trouble. I think Providence is going to have a way with them. I think Providence wins 79-69 is the final score in this ball game. All righty. Let's move right along here. We're looking at the St. Mary's and Gonzaga. That's your next one I'm going to bring up here for this week. All righty. Number 22, St. Mary's versus number 2, Gonzaga. St. Mary's is coming in at 20-25, 8-2, and this is the West Coast Conference. And Gonzaga is 20-2 and 9. So 2 games separates the 2 teams. And, Gonzaga and stuff like that was very, very they got Gonzaga favorite here on the ESPN matchmaker at 93.0 to 7.0. Let's make a case here and see if we can see any kind of change here. Taz, the forward for St. Mary's is 12.8 points a game, 57.1 field goals, 78.9. So if he gets to the line, it's a pretty good foul share. Teams for Gonzaga, 17.4 points per game, 60.2 for foul game, and he's under 70% at 68.9 for free throws. If you look at the money line, St. Mary's come in at 65.2. Team ranking to Gonzaga's 80.0. Gonzaga's favored by 16 points, so it's the minus 16 for Gonzaga, plus 16 for St. Mary's. Money lines plus 1,000 for St. Mary's to negative 2,000 for Gonzaga, and the over and under is 147.5. Gonzaga is averaging over 90.8 game, only giving up 60 only points against them is 64.6. St. Mary's is 70.6 to 59.1. St. Mary's is 46.5 field goal to 53.5, so they're a very good shooting team. If you look at this thing here, is assists is at 19.2 for Gonzaga to 14.2 for St. Mary's. 2.4 blocks for St. Mary's to 5.8, and the defense is 6.9 steals to 6.9. St. Mary's come in on a 1-game winning streak to Gonzaga is now on a 13-game winning streak. St. Mary's beat USD, University of San Diego, 86-57, and then the dominance of Pacific by Gonzaga at 89-51 is that last game. So if you look at the last few games here, the last 5 games for Gonzaga is 89-55, 104-72, 92-67, 90-57, 89-51. So they've been averaging over 80 points a game. Now, last 5 here is 81-56 against Pepperdine for St. Mary's, 75-54 against Portland. Loyola Marymount, 71-60. They lost to SCU, 77-72, and they beat USD 86-56. So out of that, they only scored 80 points twice, and they averaging up in the high 70s in the 5 games of play. And they only lost 1 game out of the last 5 games, so they're 4-1. And last 5 games for Gonzaga comes in at 5-0. How do you stop the high exploding Gonzaga? You hope they don't have a good shooting night. That's going to be the only thing for St. Mary's is their defense and make them not have a good shooting night. And that's the only way you can really, really stop Gonzaga, because Gonzaga can go in and out. Pressure defense. Duke played. Duke played pressure defense on them. They played pressure defense on them. Gonzaga, bungled. But I mean, Gonzaga's a mammoth of a team. I mean, if you look here, let's look at the numbers here for St. Mary's here. And let's take a closer look here at St. Mary's. So we'll do that here momentarily. We'll take a closer look at this St. Mary's and Gonzaga's matchup. You're listening to the All Sports, All Plays College Breakdown, and we'll be right back after these messages.
All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365 5, we making a plays. We talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, they working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. Network. We on top of our game. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays.
What did you say?
I said Kobe Bean Bryant has been overrated ever since he passed away.
Now, I'd say they could lose about 4, but I don't see them losing 5. You know what I mean?
All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays.
This is the Fonx D Streaming Network. Register to come on our channel at fonxdnetwork.com.
Welcome back to the All Sports, All Plays College Breakdown. Ray Cruz. I'm your host today. Dre is usually here, but he's on assignment today. So we're going to go here and we're going to break it down a little bit more here. We're going to finish breaking down the St. Mary's and Gonzaga, and then we're going to go in and we're going to break down the last game of the 18 games I picked out, UCLA versus USC. It is coming up. So we're going to get this started right here. And then I'll take you off to your college basketball game for the day at 12 o'clock. St. Mary's Gales, if you look at the stats here, you got Tess at 12.8 is leading scorer. He's also the leading rebounder at 6.2. Kuhas is 33.5 for assists. Johnson at 2.2 for steals, and Tass is at 0.8 for blocks. Tass is your forward. He's shooting only 15.4% from 3-point range, but he's also shooting 57.1 in the 2-point range. So he's gonna have to be a big contributor inside. Your biggest outside threats are going to be Dukins and Kuhas. Kuhas and Duncans is going to be your two key 3-point threats. You do have Fatu and Bowen coming off the bench at 36.4 for Fatu, and Bowen is at 39.2. And then you have Marcialonius, I think that's how you express his name. He's at 20.8, but he's also at a 33.9. He's coming off the bench. He's only averaging 4.1 a game. So the bench play is not very, very deep. They have 4 players in double figures, and then Fatu coming off the bench. Fatu is at 7.4. So they look like they play a 3-guard offense, and that's going to be it might be an advantage for them because they can be a little bit quicker and put a little bit more pressure at ball handlers on Gonzaga. Let's see here. This is going to probably be a big mismatch if you look at Gonzaga stats because their numbers are up, and Martin Few has played a lot of players. Let's take a look at the dogs here from Gonzaga and see what we can see if we see any slightly matchup that we can see here in their stats. Probably we won't. Like I said, Timms is shooting 25%. He's a forward. He just shoots 60%, 60.2. Now listen to these numbers in 2-point range for Gonzaga. Holgering, the center is 64.5, 46.5 from 3-point range. Strawher is 71 point. He's at 51.8, 2-point, 38.3 3-point. You got Bolton at 50% inside. They have 5 players in double figures. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you have players coming off the bench at 8.4 for Watson, Hickman at 6.8. But all these players shoot like 46%, 57%, 45%, They have another guy that comes off the bench. He shoots 58%, but he's only averaging 5.1s a game. And I mean, you got 25%, you got 34%, you got 29%, you got 34% from 3-point range. This is why this team is shooting lights out. This is why this team has played a great game. And I don't see any kind of mismatch. I see this is going to be another dominated game, even though they say it's going to the predictor in this ball game is is correct. It's going to be all Gonzaga. I don't see how the Seals. I don't see how St. Mary's going to stay in this ball game. I think this could be a 20-point victory. I think it's going to be 90-70. I really do. I think it's going to be 90-70. Gonzaga in this ball game. It's just going to not be a good game to watch, really, even though there's two ranked teams playing. So we're going to bring it back here. Let me give it a little water here. All right. Let's take a look. Let's take a look at the last game that I have in my 18th game. We have all finished up the 18 games I have picked for today. Number 12, UCLA. Number 21, USC. Number 17, UCLA is 17-4, 9-3 in Pac-12 play. USC comes in at 20-4, 9-4 in Pac-12 play. Let's break it down a little bit here, numbers wise here. This is a 58.5% match predict for UCLA to 41.5% predict for USC. So there's tilted almost in the middle here of the thing. So you got so let's take a look here. You got Jay Zuzu, I don't know. I think it's Zuzang from UCLA, 18.1, 4.5% from field goal range, 84.9% from the foul line. So he gets the line is pretty good. The Mobley forward at USC is 4.7 points per game to 45.7 field goal per game, 67.4 from foul line. So he's not a good foul line shooter. The team ranks are 69.3 for UCLA to 67.9 for USC. Point spread is is a 2-point spread for UCLA, so there's a +2 for USC in the spread. The money line is minus 130 for UCLA, plus 110 for USC, and it's 137.7. So if you want to go to bet, that's your lines right there. You can use that and make it your prerogative. Do not blame me if you lose money, because I didn't tell you to go and bet your money. So that's my disclaimer. So if you want to look here at it, if you want to look at the numbers here, UCLA is averaging more points at 77.8, but they give up the most points at 67.9 to 73.3 for USC to 63.6 for points given up by USC. Both teams are coming here slightly better field goal percentage from USC at 45.8 to 45.2, a 0.3 difference. USC comes out rebounding at 41.0 to 37.6. The assists is pretty close at USC's favorite at 14.7 to 14.3, a 0.4 difference. Block shots, UCLA at 3.7 to USC 4.5. That's a difference of 1.2. And then you got your steals at 7.0 for UCLA to 5.1. That's a 4.9. That's a 1.9 difference. And both teams are coming in on one-game winning streak. UCLA beat Stanford 79-70, and in the Pacific 74-68. So that's a beatdown. So what does UC? Let's take a look here and see what kind of. Let's take a look at UCLA and see what we have here, and then we can pick up the USC numbers, and then we can go. Oh, and then we can go from there, and then if we have enough time, we'll run down some of the. We'll run down the league leaders here in the standings. So let's take a look here at these beatdowns here, at the stats here. Let's take a look at the stats here. Let's go here. We got Jazong at 18.1, Jaquiz at 5.6, Campbell at 4.7, Jaquiz at 1.2 for steals, and Campbell at 4.7 for the assists, 5.6 for rebounds. And then you got and then you got Johnson at 1.4. Jajay is at 36.8 from 3-point range, 45.5 from 2-point range. They're averaging about 45.2 for 2-point, 34.3. That's okay. That's mediocre in size there. Campbell leads at 40.7 from the 3-point range, so that's going to be your battle there. Zazinga's got to produce his 18.9 numbers, and everybody's got to get their average here. And if everybody gets their average points here, they can score 77.8. They can score 77 points in this contest here. So that's UCLA's number there. Let's go take a look at USC's numbers and see if everybody gets their average, who actually will win this ball game. And if I'm telling you, one team's going to have to play good. Both teams got to play good defense. If both teams can take some of their numbers down, from that they can have a chance to win this ball game here. Let's take a look at USC here in this ball game here. So let's take a look here. Let's run some stats numbers. I'm a big stat guy, so I like to run some stat numbers. Mobley at 14.7. Mobley's at 8.5 for rebounding. Peterson is at 3.2 for assists, and Mobley at 0.9 for steals, and Morgan at 1.1 for block shots. If you look at Mobley is 39.4%. They're averaging 34.3, 64.7. If everybody gets there, so somebody's going to have to get over their number because they're only averaging 70. If everybody gets their numbers, they're only averaging 73.3 a game. So the question is, can somebody step up their numbers big? Can Mobley have a bigger game? If Mobley gets 20-some points, they can win this ball game. I think this game is going to be close, I think this game is going to be definitely going to be close. This is going to be a battle. This is going to be a battle of LA, California, right here, of LA, the two teams. So this is going to be a real battle here. There's a 2-point situation here. I'm going to go here, and I'm going to say UCLA 77, and I'm going to say USC 75. So I think UCLA wins this ball game. But this game is in the Galen Center, and this is going to be a game that's going to be in Los Angeles, California. It's going to be at the campus of USC. So USC does have a home field advantage, but I think UCLA comes in. I think UCLA wins it 77-75. That's my prediction for this ball game. So that is my prediction for this ball game here. So that's where we're taking a look here of these ball games. So let's go look at the standings here, and then we'll tell you who's the leader of most of the things. So in the A side, the leader is Liberty at 9-1. On the east side and the west side is the Jacksonville State Gamecocks at 9-2. American East Conference, Vermont Catamounts is leading at 11-0. They've got a 4-game lead there. The American Athletic Conference is number 6. Houston's leading at 9-1. They have a 1-game lead over SMU. The Atlantic 10, Davidson Wildcats got a 2-game lead over St. Louis Falcons. The Atlantic Coast Conference is Duke. Duke's 10-3. Notre Dame is 10-3. Wake Forest and Miami and North Carolina are all a game behind in the ACC. The Big 12, number 8, Jayhawks has the lead, 8-2, 1-game lead over the Baylor Bears. The Big East, the Providence Friars got a 2-game lead over Villanova at 10-1. The Big Sky Conference, Montana State Bobcats 11-2, 1-game lead over Weber State. The Big South, the Longwood Lancers 10-0, got a 5-game lead over the Camel Fighting Camels. That's in the North Division. In the South Division is 9-2, Winthrop Eagles. The Big Ten, Illinois has got the lead over that. In the Big Ten, they tied with Wisconsin 10-3, and then Purdue is 1 game behind. So is Michigan State and Ohio State are all 1 game behind. The Big West Conference is Long Beach State Beach, 9-1. They got a 1-game lead over Cal State Fullerton Titans. They're 7-2. The Colonial Athletic League, UNC Wilmington is leading by 1 game over the Townsend Tigers, 10-2. On the east side of the U.S. Conference USA, Middle Tennessee Blue Raiders 7-3. They got a 1 game lead over the Florida Owls. On the west side is the North Texas Mean Greens at 10-1. Got a 1 game lead over UAB Blazers. The Horizon Leagues, the Cleveland State Vikings got a 1 game lead over the Oakland Golden Grizzlies. The Ivy League, Yale is 7-1. Got a 1 game lead over Pennsylvania Quakers in the Ivy League. The Metro Atlantic Conference, Iona Gales, 11-2, and they got a 2 game lead over St. Peter's Peacocks. Sorry. The Mid-Atlantic Conference, Toledo Rockets and the Ohio Bobcats are tied at 11-2, and the next closest team is Kansas State and Akron Zips and Buffalo Bulls. All are 4 games lost. Kansas State's at 10-4, Akron Zips at 9-4, and Buffalo Bulls at 6-4. The Mid-Eastern Conference Athletic Conference, Norfolk State Spartans 6-1. They got a 1 game lead over North Carolina Central Eagles in that conference. The Missouri Valley Conference, Northern Iowa Panthers 10-3. Loyola Chicago Ramblers 9-3. They're tied at the top. Missouri State are 9-4. So the Mountain West Conference, Boise State 10-1. Wyoming Cowboys 9-1. And then you got your Colorado State Rams and your San Diego State Aztecs at 6-3. At 6-3 and 9-3 for Colorado. And then we're getting closing in on the Ohio Valley. Number 23, Murray State Racers, 13-0. They got a 2 game lead over the Belmont Bruins and the Morehead State Eagles. All right. The Pac-12, number 4, Arizona is 11-1. The Oregon Ducks at 9-3. So they got a 2 game lead over the Oregon Ducks and the UCLA Bruins. And then this is that UCLA and USC game is pretty big, 93-94 in the conference play. The Patriot League is Colgate Raiders, 9-2. Navy's are 2 games behind. The Navy Midshipmen's at 9-4. The Southern Athletic Conference. We're looking at Auburn at 10-1. They got a 1 game lead over Kentucky and a 2 game lead over Arkansas Razorbacks at 8-3 and Tennessee Volunteers at 8-3. The Southern Conference, Chattanooga Mocs, 11-2. They got a 2 game lead over Furman Paladins. And the Southland Athletics Conference, New Orleans Privateers are 7-1. They got a 1 game lead over Nicholas Collins at 5-2. The Southern Western Athletic Conference, Florida A&M Rattlers at 8-3. They got a 3 game lead over Alabama in the East. In the West, the Southern Jaguars are 9-2. They got a 1 game lead over the Texas Southern Tigers. And we're going into the Summit League, where South Dakota State Jackrabbits are 13-0. They got a 3 game lead over Oral Roberts. And then the Sun Belt Conference, Appalachian State 10-3. Troy has got a 1 game lead over Troy at 8-3, and then a 1.5 game lead over Texas State Bobcats at 7-3. In the West Coast Conference, number 2, Gonzaga 9-0. St. Mary Gales are 8-2. The 2 games behind. The Western Conference, New Mexico State Aggies at 10-1. They got a 1 game lead over Seattle University Red Hawks. And that is your latest top of the standings of all the college basketball going around. And this has been the College Breakdown Show. Yeah, we went down and we broadcast 18 games today, and we broke them down. So this is the All Sports, All Police College Breakdown. I'm Ray Cruz. Have a good day.
All sports, all plays. Yeah. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making a plays. We talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety, topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. Hitting the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays.